and seeing what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And if you can't have that intellectual, heated, like debate based off the information that you have, then is the information that you have, do you really believe it, or is it really true? So I have a bunch of questions that I would love to ask Lion D about what he said the other day, and I think that it's extremely important because if we're gonna talk about slander, if we're gonna talk about taking people to the courts legally, if we're gonna talk, and sorry about that, guys, we got, and I don't know why, yeah, landscaping's out here doing this shit right now. When it's literally raining outside, sprinkling outside, but it makes no sense. But if we're gonna like tell people that they're slandering you, if we're gonna record people without them like giving them consent, I think all this stuff should be talked about. I think that it's definitely a conversation had, and not just a back and forth. And for the women that defend Ryan D, all I gotta say is, like, how long have you known the dude? What, 2 months, 3 months? So you're willing to put your character, you're willing to put everything that you have online and publicly, your word, your credibility, who you are, like your presence on social media. Y'all are willing to risk all of that for a dude that y'all met 3 months ago. Please make this make sense. Please make it make sense. Why do y'all defend Ryan so hard? What did he do for y'all? That's the question. And if this isn't a race situation, why can't he speak to a black man with an opposite viewpoint? Why can't he have a conversation? Why does he have to block us? Why does he have to mute us? Why does he have to take us out the room? This is why I don't fuck with Bigo. Because it's literally a remodel of what Chinese society goes through. If you have a difference of opinion, if you think differently than the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, they mute you. They kick you out. You aren't allowed at their events anymore. So whatever happened to freedom of speech? Because Ryan does all this thing about talking about God and Jesus being king, but he's not even allowing people to speak their own mind. So, to me, it doesn't make any sense. And to me, noticing how Black Widow specifically began attacking her other so-called friends on the panel during this situation, to me, shows a lot about Ryan's character. Shows a lot about Ryan's character. Because why would Ryan allow black women to fight on his panel? If he does all this talking about the black man being muted, or the black man muting the black woman, he does all this talking about how the black man ain't shit, how the black man can't take care of the black woman, but he's gonna allow two black women fight on his panel like they're fighting in front of a slave plantation. And they literally were just working together. As black women, how do y'all allow that to take place? How do you allow yourself to fight with another black woman in the defense of a white man? Now tell me, let's think back to slavery. Okay, that happened a lot. And then if I wanted to come and address to address the bullshit that I see take place on your panel, as a black man, I wouldn't have a voice on your panel. Just like how a lot of black men on a white slaveholder's plantation didn't have a voice. So if I wanted to speak up against the black women that he was allowing to fight on his panel, he muted me and it took me out his thing the same way like a white man would have whipped me back on a slave plantation if I try to speak up against him having two black women fight themselves. Do y'all see the similarities here? Right? Energy is not destroyed, only transformed. And that's what we have to understand. That's what we have to really like understand is the slave tactics that he's using. Peace and love. Yo,
Hey,
yo.
love, what's good? You
You
already
know,
know what's going on with it.
man, I just finished listening to all three recordings of the response, emotional reaction of Lion D after his sister's interview, and just listening to all the lies that he was spewing, all of the hatred you could sense, and then to see black women on his panel fighting amongst themselves and him allowing it, like it brought me back to a lot of slavery research that I was doing. Like you remember that book I told you about, The Bound in Wedlock by Tara W. Hunter.
Yeah.
It's the same slave tactics that Nature Boy is using. It's the same thing that Ryan's using. And I was just making all these correlations, but that's basically like what happened before you came in. But did you know, world, that in Massachusetts, it's actually illegal and against the law to record somebody without their consent
That's what Lion D did. He stated that publicly.
publicly, right? And we're not talking about recording a live stream video because that's public information. I'm talking about in-person recording.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Lion D done broke the law. He admitted to it.
He admitted to on camera, and then indirectly used those recordings in a threatening manner to try to silence a family member.
See, Lion D ain't got no place to be talking about nobody right now, especially about going and taking out some papers on some damn body. Lion D done messed up. He done
Nobody.
bad.
And then another thing too, like he always says, right? That is why don't you like man, like why don't you have your videos for free, or why don't his parents sell the books for free? Is I'm sorry, what? Name me one free thing on Amazon.
Right.
Name name
Right.
me one thing that I could get free on Amazon.
Name one person that works for free.
A slave.
Okay. I'm just trying to get this right. You know,
Exactly.
Lion D, made an issue about me getting $3, people donating, to my network, but at the same time, let's not, take away from the fact that he has stated that he was gonna give $5,000 to interview Clubfoot. He said he was gonna fly to Puerto Rico. That's one. Number two, Lion D said he went to the FBI. That's two. See what I'm saying? We can go
Yep.
on and on with Lion D. That's all he doing now, lying. That's all
Lying.
he doing.
Lying. And based off his response, just let you know that it's everything that she said was true. Everything that was ever true. And obviously, right, we know that no family is perfect, obviously. Like none perfect with my family, none perfect with your family, none perfect with nobody's family. But when you listen to what he was saying and the way that he was saying it, you can tell that there was a lot of added in details that weren't there before. And I guarantee you, if I was to ask Ryan to repeat those exact memories in reverse, he couldn't do it.
Nah, he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. But he had rehearsed certain lies that he used, like how his sister, and her husband was saying the way that, he's manipulative towards, their mother.
Yep.
Lion D's did that with the grandmother as well. He's an outcast. Nobody wants to deal with him. He's problematic, has a repeated problem of asking people for money, taking advantage of church members, taking advantage of not the white card he said that he had, but takes advantage of the strength of his family's reputation. His father, as far as his father being a minister, That's what Lion D was using to get over on folks.
And that's another thing too, that really made me think about it. It's like obviously we know that Robert, like Robert, he's a successful man. He built himself out in this world off of his belief, off of his church, off of just the grace of God. He's built
Right.
away from his family. If you look at Ryan, he hasn't done that, right? Is he hasn't even reached the same level of success that his father has even reached. So I can definitely see how when he admitted to, let's say, sleeping with his father's ex-wife, right, and said that he did it in his bed, saying that he looked in the mirror and that's all he could think about is his dad, like that. Those are all signs of you wanting to live and be like your dad. So, like for example, like if I wanted to be like my like dad and he's an NFL player, I'm gonna try on his shoulder pads,
Right.
man. I'm gonna try on his helmet, man. I'm gonna put on his cleats,
Right.
right? And so I'm gonna like man, like play catch or do shit that he does. He literally wants to be like his dad. And what you said in your video that you did yesterday about how since his father didn't ordain him, him being the oldest of his brothers, and then allowing his sister, who is more successful, more responsible, more organized, more mentally balanced, gave her the legacy to carry on and not him. And I guarantee you, if we were to ask her, when did this happen? When did his father start to give her more of the responsibilities? That's when Ryan began to act out. I guarantee you.
Yeah, but see, the thing about Lion D, I don't feel like that they made a mistake with doing so, because you can't give everybody jewels, just like you just wouldn't give any and everybody a weapon, whether it's
Yeah.
a weapon physically to abuse somebody or a weapon in general that you arm yourself with. Like, it don't supposed to be in the hands of everybody. See, it wasn't meant for Ryan D to have that position, because with the things that we've heard about him, you can only imagine how things would have been, if he would have connected with people within the church, if he actually would have, so to say, uh been a pastor or been a minister, so to say. So I'm glad they didn't give him the damn position. To tell you the truth, he don't need it. He need counseling on some other shit. Like, straight up, he got father issues, man. Straight up, man. I guess like his father, didn't get to play football with him, or throw the football, or shoot a couple jumpers with him, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking that it is, because this dude definitely is emoting a lot. I mean, he's bringing up stuff, uh, telling all of his family business, which is number one. That's a motherfucking no no. That's some shit you just don't do. I wouldn't give a damn what happened within the family and how embarrassing that things were that a family member, committed. That's not something outside of the household to be discussed with other people. That's how people make mockeries of families, just as people have made mockeries of the family to a degree, only because of things that he done. They family worked hard for that name, on a
Yeah.
traditional level, and to have somebody like Lion D
Okay,
come along and fuck it up, like, come on, man, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
okay, World and Cooler. I just stopped in here. I left a message on, I think that's Instagram in the little group thingy
Yeah.
that I want y'all to check out. I have some runs to make. The lady wanted to come now, but that's impossible. I'm gonna set a time up and we're gonna do that. I'll let y'all know. I'm gonna give you a time, but go check that message out and check who I got coming up on today. Don't mention it. Don't mention anything
Okay,
about it. Keep it on the low. He'll see it when it's go down.
Okay.
But check,
Okay.
go check that out for me.
okay, bet.
All
All
right.
right.
See y'all in a minute.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna check that out now. But you're exactly right. And just the way that he was going through, like, notice right when he was going through all of the like so-called what happened, the memories were all out of place. Like if you're gonna tell the story, start from the beginning and then tell exactly what happened throughout into where we are now. Don't skip around from one memory when you were 11 to one memory when you were 9 to one memory when you were 35, one memory when you were, 25. Like, don't skip around to all these different memories. Like, it makes no sense. Like, it makes it seem like you're trying to literally make up anything that you can find to say anything bad about, like, your family. And that's the crazy thing is, and that's how we know that a lot of the information that you spoke about was actually an ad hominem argument. And this is another thing too, like, people, like, you can't attack somebody's personal character if you can't combat the information. Okay? Let's think about this. If, let's say, me and World are having an intellectual debate, and World says something that I can't defend, or I don't have the information about, the next best thing to do to win that argument is to then attack his character or his past. Okay? And when I do that, I'm now throwing the direction of the conversation from me not answering the question or the facts, then to his character and to his personal life. Okay? And if that is only done to discredit is the person that told that information so that I don't have to answer the question. That is called an ad hominem conversation or an ad hominem argument. Okay? So notice anybody that is attacking the BMT world, anybody that's attacking anybody in general. Notice, right? Notice is the way that they have these conversations. Okay? It's always an ad hominem attack. It's always attacking the character, their personal life, instead of the actual information. So notice when Ryan was spewing all of his so-called memories or what his father and sister did, right? He was telling memories that he experienced, but he was adding extra details. And you could tell that by the specificity, and I'm mispronouncing the word, but the so-called specific precise detail that he was giving. Okay? And the reason why that is considered a lie is because you go that specific to try to make the person believe you. Okay, so let me give you an example. Okay, so if I'm over here trying to tell a lie to Toya, okay, and I want to make her to believe me, right? So let's say she's my manager, and I call in at work. Is yeah, we're gonna bring Q World back up in here. But let's say, hey yo, but let's say that Toya is my manager at work, and I wanted her to believe my lie, right? I'm gonna add a super specific detail, if not two super specific details, to that lie to make it more believable. So, for example, if let's say that my car broke down, but it's really not, but I'm just saying that so I don't have to go into work, right? I'm gonna look up an issue with the car, like spark plugs or the starter or something like that, and I'm gonna add that into the conversation so that my boss will, oh shoot, it's the starter, it's doing this, so he knows the specific details of what he's talking about. So more likely than not, he's telling the truth.
Right.
So when Ryan adds those super precise, specific details, we know that's a lie because he's adding those in to make us believe like what he's saying is truth. Yes, it's the memories that you had of the times that you're thinking about was right, but the specific details of the 30 women, that is a lie. The specifics of yo dad sleeping with your girlfriend, your ex-girlfriend, Ryan, look at you. What type of women? Like, you pull big women, bro. Why would your dad even want to sleep with your ex-woman? And your brother, like your younger brother's ex-woman? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. So, those are lies. And we could just tell based off all shit that you said how those things are lies, because then first he said there was 2 deaths. Now there's what, 3 deaths added to the family now?
That dude is wild, man. He
And
wild. And you got to think about all this stuff that he said that people recorded, but the stuff in confidentiality he's disclosed with the with the females that you seen that was on his panel. I'm pretty sure they want to talk about this stuff because they already know if they don't want to talk about this stuff, then collectively they all will be involved with Ryan and what Ryan ass was doing. So any day now, whether you talk to me, you talk to Kulu, you talk to Thai News, Nicole News, China News, Submissive News, whoever the hell that you talk to, we definitely want to hear that because it's a lot of murky stuff that surrounds Lion D, most notably the lies, but there's other stuff as well that I definitely want to get down to the bottom of. I mean, I got an idea of what happened, but
Yeah.
I'd like to hear this, so we can do somewhat of a comparison with all of this stuff. We'll run it all back. We'll run it back.
That's the thing too. It's
Run it
like
back.
that's the thing too. It's like then Ryan talks about how the whole family's against him, but then he says that he manipulated his brother into going back into the family. Like, but like that makes no sense. Either your brother is against him fully and on your side, or he's with the family. Like, why are you saying that your whole family's against him, and then you're gonna say that he manipulated your brother back into being inside the family? Like, what, dude? Like, it makes no sense on what you're talking about. And on top of all of that stuff, right? And what really gets me is when he talks about you charging your money like for like your work. And it's like I never had to pay to watch a YouTube video. I didn't know YouTube charges before we enter in the link into the video. I didn't know that I had to put a $3 amount into the video before I watch it on YouTube. So how are you really charging? Just because people out of the bottom of their heart is want to support you and give you that $3? Bro, you're not charging everybody for the $3. So this idea that you're charging people money to watch your video is stupid.
Lion D.
Lying D. It's lying D. But it's lying D. But it's lying D.
Lion D. He's somewhere now getting drunk. He can't take it. He got to think of some more lies. He has to have that liquid courage in order to get on the live stream and speak some more lies. You feel me? I got it though. I got Lion D. Like I said, we'll go even deeper in the Matrix today.
And then, right, he said, cause I just listened to it, and it just all come back to my mind. He said that Roy Clark dude, whatever, uh, his dad stole $650,000 from him, right? Or that apparently like Ryan's dad stole $650 from that Roy person, which we know that was on Ryan's panel last week, 2 weeks ago, and it
Right.
had its own ministry in Arizona, and we know that his dad didn't ordain him. So who's to say that when his dad didn't ordain him, that dude got upset and got hurt, and then told Ryan D, like knowing he's a black sheep, and made up some lies, and now Ryan D went away with that and started doing some shit in the family off those lies. 650 world. Come on, man. We're black people, bro. Where do we have $650,000 to where we could just give it away?
Nobody got no $650,000.
Especially in Massachusetts, that small town of Massachusetts.
That's why I say Lion D, man. All this shit coming to a head. All that shit he said about the mob and all that shit, man. Lion ain't even Italiano, man. He got on here front, man. That's like if I was on here, you know what I'm saying, fronting and stuff, talking about, I was Yugoslavian or Honduran or Nicaraguan. I ain't from them places, man. I'm from here. So like I say, Ryan D, he did a lot of front, a lot of masquerading, a lot of playing games. It is what it is. It is what it is.
And then,
I'm gonna drop down in the comments for a minute because I gotta run. I gotta run in this spot right quick.
bet.
Why this
Bet.
damn line done slow the fuck down?
Yeah, but I want you to know, because like me, like it just doesn't make any sense. And to me, I like to talk about this stuff and ponder these different thoughts until it like starts to make a little sense. Why doesn't Ryan allow a man on his platform that has a difference of opinion that could, let's say, not say question, but let's say just talk about his side of the story? Like, it makes no sense. Why won't you allow somebody with a difference of opinion, okay, to come in there and to ask you what really happened? Because to me, I think that if that was to take place, the person who's doing the questioning would start to add up the contradictions that is told within his story, which is why I believe he doesn't allow anybody else outside of people, women specifically, who agree with him or work with him on his platform. And to me, that's an issue because as a man, if you can't intellectually defend yourself based off any allegation, and if you can't sit down and have a conversation about why those allegations are false, instead of just telling and exposing, let's say, stuff that happened within your family, why not talk about how the stuff was false? Why do you feel the need to then react and then tell everything else that happened? If it was false, wouldn't you address the things that she said that was false directly? If somebody comes to me and says, Kulu, you're a pedophile or you're an abuser, I'm not going to just attack that person and be like, man, but you did this to me and you did this to that. No, I'm going to literally, no, I'm not an abuser, and then I'm going to explain why I'm not an abuser. No, I am not a pedophile, and here's the reasons on why I'm not a pedophile. As I'm going to rebuke the actual statements that you made about me. But we didn't see any of that take place. He just said, oh, they're lying. Please explain to us how they're lying then. Please explain. Like, don't just give us more stories about your dad. Explain the stories about you. Do y'all see what's going on here? Do you see how the family member is telling y'all what happened with Ryan? Ryan's trying to throw this on the dad. The dad hasn't said one word. I've yet to hear the dad actually speak on these interviews. So why is Ryan constantly attacking the dad and not his issue with his sister? Make this make sense, man. Ryan's dad did not have anything to do with yesterday or the sister's interview. That was completely the sister's family and her. Why isn't Ryan going specifically at her? Why is he constantly trying to put more stories out about the father? Why not just address your sister and what she said about you, and then after you address that and prove that to be false, then then go at the dad? Exactly. Exactly. But he talks about the black man muting the black woman, but when I went on his platform to try to have a sit-down discussion about his side of the story, called me an ugly-ass dude and then kicked me out, muted me. So he talks about black men muting black women, but let's talk about how he's muting black men as a white man. Knowing the white supremacy that exists in this country, knowing the racism that is spewing out in today's time, especially after that kid that just got shot in Minneapolis. But he says it's not a race thing. Just because you say it's not a race thing doesn't mean your actions don't speak that it's a race thing. I appreciate that. And I'm not even like, I just woke up. You feel me? Like, I didn't even try to get ready. Just because you say it's not a race thing doesn't mean your actions don't tell you to be true. If you weren't racist, Ryan, you would allow a black man with a difference of opinion to come ask you questions about your side of the story. Because it's the reason why he doesn't want a black man on there outside of Nature Boy, which he knew is, and that's crazy. It's the reason why he doesn't want another black man with a difference of opinion outside of Nature Boy on there, because he knows that those women are gonna go against Nature Boy and be on his side. But if I went over there and started questioning, he don't know how Black Widow's gonna act. He don't know how Newbie is gonna act. He don't know how these people are gonna act. Yeah, you can definitely come up. Feel free to come up. If you go outside the topic, if you start shouting out other channel holders, if you start being disrespectful to the Beam team, I'm gonna go ahead and like drop you from the panel. But you can definitely come up. Because we're talking about Ryan D and the issues that he has. We'll put you in box number 1. Peace and love.
Hey, I'm not cabbing up because I'm smoking.
Nah, you good.
How do I not cab up?
If you click your picture, like a little box, like it should put like a little
This
cam
box that I'm on now?
Yes. Click it and it should pop up like 3 different options, click the little camera button at the bottom, and it should cancel it out.
Um, okay, so click on that, and then I took my mic off.
Yeah, so do the camera option that's next to it. There we
Damn
go.
it.
And you flip.
Okay, so you said the second little thingy. Okay, got it.
Here we go.
Yeah, I don't want to mess your live up, and I'm smoking, and I'm not hiding my smoke.
I'm about to like go to the side right now too. But peace and love. How are you?
I'm good. Greetings to you. Peace and love to you as well. I'm like new here on this app, really. So, but I only came here because world. So pretty
Okay.
much, I got to speak to Nikki one time or whatever. But I'm like so confused with this whole entire thing because like I said, I started watching this because of world,
Yeah.
and I hear a whole bunch of stuff that goes on this, and I'm not even trying to get into the mix up. But
Yeah.
I don't understand this guy Ryan at all. Like it seems like all these other people, just like one of the people that actually name themselves after Carb, and I don't want to mention that person. You know who I'm talking about. Every time, oh, they're going to be court, they're going to be this, they're going to be that. Oh, yeah, trust me, the FBI. And and the same thing with Ryan. And it's like, excuse my frustration, but I'm like, I just don't understand how all these people claiming that they're taking him down, but then they wind up ganging up on each other and all this crazy confusion. Like, I just don't understand. But I did ask Ryan who his father was, and he tells me, "Oh, go Google it." But I didn't even know the guy's name, so I'm
Yeah.
like, "What? Go Google what?" Like that doesn't even make sense. Like if you claim that you're so busy trying to help our community and this and that, why in God's name do you don't even have your stuff together and you have all these problems in your family, but yet you're claiming that hey, we're not sticking together, but you're bringing nothing but confusion here, like.
Exactly. It's and I can feel your energy, and I feel the exact same way. And to me, right, and if you ask him who his father is, he don't give you his specific name to where you can go look it up. Because if he was to do that, and the only reason why we got his dad's specific name was from people who worked with him.
Right.
Yeah, like not like he don't say it publicly like what his dad's actual name is, because if you go look it up, you realize
You'll
that
find out that he's lying.
pastor, not a cult leader, a pastor. And to me, we can't just call everything a cult. Like it has to be actual documentation, articles saying that this is a cult. When
Right. And those
his dad, nothing like that. Just all about church, being like a reverend, a pastor, all about church.
right. And those of us with common sense know, a cult. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yes. Yes. And and that's why he didn't tell you his real name, because he don't want people to go look it up, because if people look it up, then they'll find out the actual truth. And a lot of
Right.
people have bad experiences with these Christian churches because like not every church is perfect. There are
Exactly.
things like that. So I understand why people don't believe the sister and the family, but to me, we have to look at is the people that are telling the story. Okay, so
Exactly.
we have to look at Ryan's sister versus Ryan. And then when you look at Ryan's sister and you do the research about her, you realize that she was part of Miss America.
Miss Massachusetts.
Yes. You realize that she's actually connected and tied to high-end nonprofit organizations and other
Right.
states. Her family's church has multiple different churches in different states, not just one state, but in multiple different states.
Right.
They're doing work overseas when it comes to like philanthropy work.
Right.
So now let's look at Ryan. Ryan, all he's done is sit in the house all day
Yes.
with a candle in his dark
Right.
inside on Beagle Live.
His penis. I don't even think he could see his penis. And he sits up there and talk about he doesn't want black women that sit there and eat Cheetos. Just funny. I didn't want to cut you off. But that was so funny.
Nah, but it's true though. Like it's what you're saying is true though. And so we have to look at who's more credible, who's more accomplished in society, because it's to me it'd be different if she was part of the music industry. It'd be different
Right.
if she was part of the political industry, then I can see, okay, then maybe she would have lied her way into getting up there. But when you
Right.
look at the work that she's doing, that's real work. That's real life helping the
Right.
community. That's real life helping other people. So
Right.
whose story are we gonna believe? And this is why he don't give a lot of information about who his sister is, because if you go look up his sister and you see how beautiful she is, and you look at him, you're like,
I've never saw her. Yeah,
and
I'd like to see her.
I'm not gonna put her picture out there like that.
Right. No, I don't expect you to. And shout out to all of you guys on the Beam team. Like, you guys put in that work. Like, I love that.
Like I can send it to you like behind closed doors in like a private DM, but I'm not gonna do it live. If like if you want to see it real quick. What's your IG? Do you have an IG?
Yeah, it's Valley Streams.
Valley Stream. So spell it real quick.
Yeah,
So
with the IE, not Y.
Valley Streams. Hold on. Okay, so I'm
And I'm
looking it
sorry, I'm super loud. I'm from Brooklyn, so
up.
I'm like super loud.
So VALLI
E and Streams.
Streams.
Yep.
So I'll send you a quick picture. There it goes.
Great. So I was watching the other night that he kind of flipped out on that girl Luxury Rose.
Gold, yeah.
Gold, I'm sorry, yeah. And he put out her whole name and everything. Like I was like, wow. I was like, geez, like this guy has like no filter. But anyway, my thing is that you are so quick to share out all this information, and like he put her first and last name, called the police, so he says, or whatever, on the phone. I mean, I think he did because it was like live, but why put her first and last name out there, like her real, like that was crazy.
Because he's fake.
I could not believe that. But you can't tell us who your dad was. Oh, just Google it. And then he sits there and complains like a miserable soul, like, yeah, and then when he gets mad, he just runs his mouth. Like, I can't listen to him for like more than a few minutes, just like Velvet. Like, it's getting to the point where I can't stand none of these people. And the only reason why I got this app is because of World News. And it's just. I mean, at first I thought World News was probably like just complaining and things like that. But then as I started listening to this guy, I was like, you know what? Why is everybody attacking him? He's the only one that's been on this guy's behind. Like, and it's I just don't understand it. Like, why is everybody against World? And I'm just so happy that yesterday he got to see the love, because I tell him all the time, like, thank you for everything that he does, and also thank all of you on the Beam team that put in that work, because no one is really caring, like, when it comes to all seriousness. Like, I'm sick of hearing people, oh, I'm going to sue him, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they all look like morons, and it's like, we all need to stick together. And I'm going to shut up now.
Nah, you good. And that's another thing too. Is like once Nature Boy like comes down officially, is we're gonna report on what happened with why it took so long in getting him down, because there's a lot of stuff that took place behind the scenes from 2 years ago that these channel holders that you see talking about World were involved in
Right.
2 years ago, and the function that we're involved in 2 years ago. So once Nature Boy gets taken down and we get everything with that finished, and then
Right.
we're gonna on why it took so long to get him taken down. And once y'all see all the receipts of all these channel holders, the Kool-Aid, both kisses, everybody, and y'all see what they were doing behind the scenes to keep this shit up and running, it's gonna blow y'all's mind.
Wow.
We've been get and
Sometimes you guys do, well, to be honest, you guys do blow my mind like all the time. Sometimes I even myself, and I'm not going to lie because I have to be honest, and that's with any and everything, but it's like I even sometimes like, nah, these guys are exaggerating, or no, this can't be true. And then it winds up being true. And then you guys somehow find family and all these other people, and they come out and they tell you guys, like, no, this is blah, blah, blah. And it's like, wow, clean out your own backyard first before you can try to come and tell us about our culture and what we do. And blah, it's like, wow.
that's because we do real investigative journalism, like, and that's the
Right.
thing. Us like if we would have had just left the Ryan D situation alone, right? Do you think the other channel holders would have got in contact with the sister, like would have actually have unveiled all this information, or do you think that this shit would have just been pushed behind us and we would have been like focused on the next Nature Boy like antic?
Right.
Like, do you think that if we were to leave this work to the other channel holders, and you know who I'm talking about, that this information
Yeah,
about,
right.
do you think that?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Nah, it wouldn't have came out. Uh,
I'll be swinging on a star too. Like, yeah, really. Like, I don't even think it's about taking him down. It seems like they all get starstruck. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it. I
it's
do
taking in.
not get it. They give this man more power than what he has and what he deserves. Like, seriously.
Hey, Valley, check your IG message. I just sent it to you.
Okay. I'm
Yes,
gonna check it now.
yes. Yeah. Like, seeing 2 photos, and this is her, and just look at her, and you can just feel
And
her.
I will follow you too as well.
I appreciate that.
Of course. I mean, you don't have to agree with everything. Like, I'm not for polygamy, but if that's something that what people want to do, then what am I going to hate you for that or get upset at that?
Exactly.
I don't even care. That's other people's business. And going back to what you said earlier, like, who cares what happened to World or what he did or anything like that? Like, I don't I don't see the point. It seems like it's like they're almost deflecting everything on him instead of the point at hand. And
They've
that's
met
my
men in real life.
problem. Like,
They've
and all
never
these
met
people
men
are
in real
weirdos. This whole app
life.
is full of weirdos. Like,
All these people that have an issue with World or the Beam Team have never met us in real life.
right,
It's
right,
just strictly online, and that's the difference between, let's say, their issues with World versus our issues with Nature Boy. We actually have talked to Brother Natural, who's a real life person. We like, but I've actually met
Brother
Solar.
Natural. Who's that?
He was a guy that was part of Nature Boy's old camp about a year and a half ago. He's transformed himself and moved on, and like, became a way better person now.
Okay.
And
Excuse
uh,
my ignorance, but I'm just getting into, like, into this, because when I heard Nature Boy, it was like a couple of years ago, and once I heard the penis thing, I was like, oh no, this is sickening, and then I just stopped listening to him, and then that's when um I started seeing a couple of people that were like against him and saying things, and I was like, oh, okay, like, wow, this guy's really, really serious. Like, he's really doing these crazy things, and it's like, wow. I'm not here to judge anybody or whatever, but right is right and wrong is wrong, and everybody's like you said earlier, no one's perfect. So for people to sit there and start judging everyone and trying to throw the emphasis on them instead of getting at what's really the problem, it's like, wow. We have
and
enough of our own issues. We don't need anyone else to,
I
you know.
met Solar in real life. And if you think I'm lying here, as I'll show
I
you right now,
believe you.
I met Mente in real life. I've met these people. These people haven't met any of the other carbonation people. Like, they haven't met us. So we have an issue with Nature Boy because I've actually met these
Oh,
people.
she's beautiful. I'm sorry.
You know, these people have never met us. So it's the fact that they're going harder at us versus than at Nature Boy when we
Right.
actually have real people that are being affected. That is the issue with us, that we're like, what the hell? Like, it makes no sense. A police
Right.
officer is not going not help an investigation just because he has an issue with the officer he's working with. No, they're going to work together to get the investigation done, then go their separate ways.
Right.
But not everybody is trained. Not everybody is that. But you have people trying to be a reporter. You have people like trying to be been a person that's connected to the media, but doesn't have no idea about how media works. Uh,
Right.
but did you check your DMs?
Yeah, I did.
You did.
I
So
did. And I saw her pic and she's beautiful.
yeah, she's beautiful. She's successful.
Right.
He has, and I haven't even showed you like all the other stuff that she's tied to when it comes to the higher or like the higher nonprofit organizations and the work that she's doing outside the country. But
Oh, wow.
but that just lets you know who this woman is and why her dad.
Right. Because you can't, let's face it, you don't, I mean, I know when I go to church, I don't go to church for people, and sometimes you can't even look at the pastor. Like, even some things, like, I don't know, like, I get real deep. I'm like into documentaries and things like that. Even this thing with like J. Edgar Hoover and like Martin Luther King and all the tapes and stuff that he has. And like when 2027 come, there's going to be a lot of things that people are not gonna really, go for, especially I don't know how people are going to react when they hear these things about Martin Luther King. And and it's crazy, but we can't, my whole thing is we can't look to man for solutions, and for as God, we're made in his image, but we also have the free will to make our own decisions and use our mind. So,
Well, I know. I agree with you. Um,
and thank you
and
for all your input. You are so well educated and put together, and it's great to build and talk to kings like yourself. And we need
thank you.
more of you. We need to clone more of you.
Well, we need to grow them,
Thank
cultivate
you. That's
them.
true. But when
You know,
they're getting killed at alarming rates for like air fresheners and stupid things like that, like it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, is we got to fix that. Like I have my own plans on what are on how I think that we should fix it,
Right.
but like there's so much chaos going within the black community on this app,
Right.
the apps, just in real life. It's just not gonna get
Because we
done.
don't, first of all, we have to stop calling each other black because we are not black. We are not a color. We are Nubian, Asiatic.
I would agree with you if we
We
as a
come from a
community.
long, first, we're the originators.
No,
Like,
no, like I would stop using it and agree with you fully if we as a
right.
community, like decided as a collective that we're gonna stop using the N word, stop using black,
Yes.
and have all
Correct.
this like on a word that we're gonna call ourselves, but we haven't done that yet. You know what
Right.
I
Right.
mean? So like we have to
Mm-hmm.
respect all people's terms: black, indigenous, aboriginal, uh,
Right.
African. Like we have to respect all those
Right.
classes of melanin. So. Uh,
Exactly.
but to bring
Yeah,
this back to
exactly. I'm sorry, like somebody said down in the comments, that we are also native in the land.
yes, yes,
And it's like so true because my mom is she has Irish, she also has indigenous in what they call Indians here in America. She's mixed with that. So, and my dad is African from Gabon, Africa, but we were able to keep our last names, which is a good thing too, thank God. We were
yes.
allowed to keep our own last name. So I do not have a slave last name, thank God. I'm very proud of that. The consequences for doing things. It's a long story, but
Yes.
yeah.
And that's
But yeah. Hmm.
you know, but we as melanated people need to have these conversations. Like, do we throw away our last names? Do we adopt new ones? Do we create new ones? Do we just like have our first names? Like, these are conversations that we should be having as a collective as a collective community, so that
Right.
like, we can all be on the same page.
I have
Uh,
I have a question for you
yes, ma'am.
too. I was sitting down, when you have like one of those real moments to yourself and you think like ding, the light bulb clicks, like, you know,
Yes.
I was thinking like, do you think that the slave owners, and like I know a friend of mine, she has like this last name, and which is Dalton, and these people own like so much slaves, and a lot of them have like that last name. But do you think that these slave owners, their family, being that they made so much money off of slavery and things, do you think that they should like pay it back? Give
Yeah, yeah. I think we have enough money within the government right now to pay back, not in full, but to pay back one generation worth of, uh,
Peace
that
and
type.
blessings to you too, submissive. I see you, beautiful, and Nicole and
Yes,
PYT. Yeah.
but yeah, I think that there's enough money in society right now to take care of at least one or two generations, but to
Right.
take care of, because like think about it, 400, 300 years of not working and not getting
Right.
paid. Like imagine working 100 years of your life and not getting a penny, and all that money just like accumulating in a bank. Then you have another 100 years to where
Right.
all that money is just being accumulated in a bank, and then another 100 years, and then you go 50 years, and then
Hmm.
but like another but like another 30 years of like bullshit. Like that's more money than this entire society is even worth. Like they would have to give us America in its fullest with every building the way that it is today and give
Right.
to be able to pay back everything that has happened, and they're not going to do that. So they're
Right.
going to find
Exactly.
ways is to is to not do it. They're going to find ways to give the Asian community the money. Like they're going to find ways to give other people the money, but us because
Right.
they so much. You know,
Correct.
we can't give our people like like that's the thing though. Like that's like the biggest issue on reparations is that okay, if you give us, let's say, a check, we're gonna go
Mhm.
spend a check on white European companies, on
Mhm.
foreign Gucci, Supreme, and we're gonna
Right.
just be lifting the same people
Right.
that like put us down. Another thing is like we don't have the knowledge as a collective on what to do with that money. To buy land, do we buy businesses? You
Right.
know, like 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 there's no plan. So to me,
Right.
like is we're really stuck, I guess. You know.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Like we really need our own land. I don't know. Someone gave me a paper cuz like I live in Charlotte. I'm from Brooklyn, but I moved to Charlotte cuz to buy a house, obviously. But you get more bang for your buck down here. It's really beautiful. I love the seasons and stuff, and plus I was sick of all the snow up in New York. But I got a paper when I kind of like first moved down here, and it was about a guy who was supposed to be like building like his own land and his own like community in South Carolina. I don't even know really what happened to it, and I should follow up. Well, not that I'm really like interested because I don't know like what his motives are and things like that. So but it just it reminded me of it with us talking. So
Where,
I
North
need
Carolina or
to research
South
on that
Carolina?
and see what happened if he did it or anything. But yeah.
Okay. Well, like, okay, so on that, and then we're gonna go back to the Ryan situation
Yeah,
because,
definitely. Right. Mm-hmm.
um, like I think that buying land would be the best option, but that's the thing
Yes.
though. Bill Gates has already been buying land the last year and a half. He's been like confiscating buying land at extraordinary rates, for a specific reason, and
Right.
so we're gonna have to compete with like each other on buying land. Like that's the thing though. Is like we need a collective plan, and like until we have
Yes.
a collective constitution or a collective something,
Yes.
then there's nothing that we can really do. There's nothing
Yeah.
that we can
Right,
really
because we got really serious issues at hand. The violence, fighting one another, all that craziness, hating one another when we really should be loving on one another and we should be building mentally, physically, in every type of way. We really need to be building. Like I remember back in the days, I'm like way, way before your time, but I'm born 75. But I remember even then even holding on to that last bit of like unity that we really did have when parents watched each other, kids in the neighborhood watch one another, and we all knew who the neighborhood creep was, and and things of that sort. But now it's like no, we don't have any type of unity. We don't stick together.
the unity that we had was in the what 50s, 60s, early 70s. Like that's when it started
Right,
off. And to me, before we were like before we were integrated into these cities or
right,
society, you know, that's when we were together. Like that's when we like crime wasn't like we weren't killing each other as often. Like there was barely any gang violence, uh,
right.
like drug like violence in our communities at that time. And then
Yeah,
we had the civil rights movement and got into the cities and got into the neighborhoods. That's when
right.
all it began. So to me, we have to look at that and really figure out like was that the best choice for our people, or was the best choice to build our own towers, build our own cities, do our own shit. You know what I
Yes,
mean? Uh,
yes, yes.
but yeah, that's another conversation for another day. But I want
Exactly.
to get on this Ryan D
Oh
situation.
yeah. Oh yeah. But I knew that there was something, my thing is like I have to get to give I love to give people a chance and see how they are, and I wanted to see what, this guy was about. So I was like really inquisitive about it. So I was just like listening, to him. But then after a while, I was like, let me see what this guy's motive is, because not many people just really, I hate to say it, just want to help. Just because of, they really want to do it from their heart and it's like their mission or whatever. But I don't know. I kind of figured it was something, to be
But
honest.
but to me, like how can Ryan possibly bring down a cult if he can't even fix it? Like how can Ryan help Nature Boy or help anybody, help Star, help anybody like that if he can't even help his own family? And to me, that right there then proves on his intentions on why he wanted to inject himself like into this sector. That's why he
Right.
hurried up and picked up Star. That's why ever since he picked up Star.
Right.
Sorry, as I'm looking at
It's okay.
like a
Because
little.
I remember when I don't know who it was, but I remember seeing I found out about him. I think it was through World, I believe. Because they were he was showing like, oh, see, she's supposed to be vegan. They're supposed to be vegan over there, and she's eating like popcorn chicken and blah blah blah, and showing around the house and stuff. And I think he even like slept with her, I think.
Uh, who?
I thought he went to one of the girls from CN went over to stay with him. Star, who I believe.
We don't know if they had sex or any
Right, got you.
any sexual relations. All we
Hmm.
know is that he was live uh, with certain people while Star was in the car, which to me, I believe was a stunt to try to gather channel holders that were part of this community to get them to report on it.
Right,
But from the secret recording, which I don't think that you heard or if World's played it yet, because I think we're still sitting on that. But
right.
where
Yeah,
Star
I
got
haven't.
upset,
I haven't. Hmm.
and he was secretly recording her, which to me is illegal in the state that he lives in. To record somebody without their consent, that's illegal.
Right,
But he recorded her, and she got upset. She was asking her to, asking him to drop her off. She's done with going to the FBI, whatever. And
right.
last time that we heard from her publicly. Um, so to me, I feel like he he purposely flew Star out there
Of course, to prey on her.
to prey on her and
Right.
inject himself into this sector.
That's what predators do. You know how it goes.
Yep.
We've watched this story how many times already?
Well, he admits to watching Criminal Minds all the time. Like apparently,
Oh, I hate that show. I mean, a lot of people like it, but I see nothing. I'd rather watch ID, real stuff that happened, like,
yeah.
yeah, real stuff. Like, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
need to see a dramatization of it. Like, come on.
That's the show that he's watching, which lets you know his exact characters that he's trying.
Right, because they swear to God that they know everything about, forensic files and all that, once they start watching those type of shows and stuff.
Yeah, and just his whole persona, his whole character, his FBI ruse that he uses, that's the same shit that Nature Boy uses when he said that he's a TV star, right? Ryan uses this thing that he's connected to the FBI, law enforcement, because he has 2 or 3 videos or just a video of him helping out the
Wait,
police catch a
wait,
predator.
I'm sorry. I just need you to backtrack that up 1 second. Did you say Nature Boy? I'm gonna say MB because yeah. But anyway, did you say that he said that he had ties with the FBI as well?
No, not Nature Boy. I'm talking about Ryan D. And
Oh,
what?
okay. Oh, yeah, yeah, right. I did hear him say that one time because I don't listen to him much, but I'll drop in like different rooms and stuff, and I hear a little something, and it's like, but I did hear him say something about that as well,
Yeah.
which did make sense to me because when that girl was missing, then you remember the one we was talking about earlier, luxury gold.
Yes. Hey,
Yeah,
pretty
and
woman.
it's like if that be the case, why didn't you call him or something like that? He just kept calling the police and things of that sort, and I was like, okay.
Hey, pretty woman.
She looks like she's trying to still work this thing out. I'm still new here. I've been here like a month, so
Let
it's
me go ahead
like
and
I
drop.
said, I only did it because World was like showing like a lot of stuff that was going on here. So I
Uh,
was like, let me just go on there myself and catch some of this stuff. And it's a crazy world out here.
let me go ahead and. kick her out real quick.
Someone said that he's a convicted child molester. I thought his child's mother left him for a convicted child molester. I thought that's
Yeah,
what
well,
it
okay.
was, and that world exposed
That's
that he wasn't.
right. Okay, so yeah, so we looked at all the backgrounds, all the articles, all that stuff about his father, who Ryan is, his whole family. We
Right.
actually have more information than Ryan thinks, which is it's funny to us because of what he's saying now. Uh,
Mm.
she left a convict.
Wow. So he really is a convicted child molester.
No, as Devon said that no, she left a convicted child molester for Ryan. No, the woman
Oh
that
yeah, right. I heard that. He said that himself. I heard him say that. Yeah.
yeah. So but when it comes to Ryan, like we know what high school he went through, what middle school he went through, but we know all that information. So that's another thing. Like he can keep doing all this, but we can keep rebooting him by going to his middle school and like, talking to his old middle school coach, his old middle school teacher, his old high
Okay.
school. Teachers. Like we can
Right.
do all, and we can bring them up on here, or we could go in person and do the interview, and just to show you that Ryan isn't who he say he is. And if like we're just waiting at this point. And that's another thing.
Right.
It's like Ryan, stop lying, dude. Just go out and tell the truth. We know you're upset at your sister because she's more successful than you. Hold on. Is we gonna bring in the goddess divine?
Hi, Nikki.
Hi, how you doing? Okay, I
I'm
want
good. How are
everyone.
you?
I'm fine.
Great.
There will be
Looking good on that
more.
picture.
There will be more light shedded to the lies,
Right. I'm just
the
waiting.
things that Ryan is doing. We will have
Right.
someone speaking today that will give
Yes.
a full, clear,
Oh wow.
personal, up close, personal relationship of Ryan. Well, Lion D. He's lying. What he's doing is, you know, Ryan been doing this for a while. He's been having experiencing these issues since his childhood. He's
Right.
upset about the fact that his daddy will not allow him to take over the business.
Right. I
He's
heard your sister say
unstable.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's very unstable. He wants to be in control of everything, the ministry, all of that, but he's unstable.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's stealing from the church. He's manipulating the members, luring them, drawing them out of money, living off them. It's just a long history of the things that he's been doing. And it's not so much that his family don't love him. They have tried
Right.
many attempts to try to get him
Right.
recover from abusing the pills and get him stable. So they have gave these are godly people,
Yeah.
and they have
Right.
gave him like many and many of chances until it escalated to the point of him putting the knife. So
Yeah.
when he put the knife to the
Wow.
nephew's neck, things started to get very serious. And as well, his mother is in a situation because Ryan has his mother totally in fear of him.
Wow. I know someone in a situation like that, and that's why I can believe that. Yeah. Wow.
So the situation is more to it. So when you hear the mom speak or say anything, just know that she's under pressure and fear of
Yeah.
him.
She's afraid. Yeah. Elderly like abuse,
Yes,
almost
and,
like
and keep in
intimidation.
mind, this is a lady that married one of his friends.
What?
Yeah, so it's a long story.
Wait a minute, Nikki. You got me about to fall out. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
What? Come
yes, he
again?
married. Yes, and the reason why he did it was to further live off the mother because I guess in a separation of Ryan's father and the mom, it was so many something thousands of dollars, hundred thousands of dollars that the mother received that Brian has just been getting her for. He gets
Oh,
her money. Yeah,
wow.
see, you got to understand the whole scenario of everything. So what
Right.
he did was he married his mother off with one of his friends to get her out of the household with Sam. so he could
What?
spend this money and take full advantage. Yes,
This
yes.
is like a soap opera, like seriously,
Yeah,
like
he's been doing this. He's been doing this for years. Ryan has been corrupted since, like, a young age.
oh,
And
I
there's
see.
proven facts of this.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
what
think
he
his
does,
father being a pastor went to his head.
yeah, it wasn't so much of that. He wants to live out his father's legacy, but he
Right.
has did so much, far as
Right.
getting criminals and doing all these different criminal activities to where, it's like kind of embarrassing to Grace Bible Church. So they
Right.
were desperately trying to get him help, and he's rebuked all form of help. This man has did things as far as to getting pills, pretending like on these pills, pretending that he was a sexual predator detective. He was doing things illegal mentally. Like he does
What?
anything to be in the presence of the media. He wants to be stuck out to be something that he's not.
This is insane. This is really insane. I
Yeah,
cannot.
it's the story is so far and wide,
Right. It's
and
like just as you think that you've heard the most, here comes something else to like, wow.
yeah, his plot is very thick. I'll tell you that from a young
Yeah, you
age.
can tell.
Now, I want to explain to you in regards to his brothers and his sisters. All of them are very successful, married,
Oh.
happy homes, beautiful homes. They're running the ministry. And do you notice Ryan is not the only one included?
Right.
Ryan is not included because Ryan has manipulated the ministry, the members, stolen money. He has did everything possible as to getting up on the stage calling the black man a nigger.
What?
Yeah, so this is behavior that's been going on at a young age.
Oh my goodness.
And it
Wow.
only has gotten worse from,
Talk about living a double life. Wow. So he thought he was going to come on
yes,
go live a double life and act like he's this holier than thou guy. He's going to
yes,
help
he used
build
his
this.
daddy's. He tries to use the fact that his daddy is, this very popular preacher with a big congregation, and he fronts that off to reel the women in. And then when he gets them, he has mistreated them. This abuse is just not with
Right. I think I
his
heard the sister
father
say
and
somewhat.
sister.
Right.
He has went as far as to have made deadly plots against to just rid his
You gotta
sisters.
be kidding. No.
Yeah,
What?
this man
This
is
guy is sick.
Hey, number one, real quick, can you kind of turn the volume down on your phone or kind of move the phone? Like it's real loud and we have people
Sorry,
commenting.
sorry, sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I'm like really in shock. Like, whoa.
right. So what he does is he finds these naive women that he can manipulate and pose as a pastor. Ryan is not a pastor. So why is he labeling himself as a pastor? He has never been ordained ever. And this is why he is upset because his two brothers has been ordained. And the sister, she runs the church secretary, everything, uh money wise. And Ryan cannot handle that. Ryan was never ordained. And the reason why he wasn't ordained because he was stealing from the church, manipulating the members, as well. This is a guy that went behind his father's back while his father was in the hospital, pretending he needed a place to stay, went to his father's home. The lady was nice to let him in, on pills and drinking, slept with the lady.
What? Oh
Yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So, this story is just very intense, and everything that Sam, her husband, and the other brothers has spoken of, I just find it very sufficient and true. And anything that Ryan is saying, it doesn't
Right.
make sense. He's posting all these videos saying his father is a cult and he got busted for this big court ring. But everyone knows if you can type this man's name in, anything that has been done under this great Grace Bible Church is going to come up.
Oh
Exactly.
wow.
And we're not coming up with anything. The only person has a very terrible background is Lion D.
Right.
And public
Wow.
records don't decease.
Oh my goodness. Wow. This is just crazy because he just made it seem like his dad was just like this cult leader, and
That's
I'm
not
like,
true. That's not true. My thing is this here: public records is public records, and when you
yeah,
type this man's name in, you
right.
don't get any of those things. You understand what I'm saying? But when you
I'm
type
glad for
Ryan,
you guys. I'm really happy about, that you guys really, do all that type of work and stuff because people would just believe anything on here. Like, this is the internet. Like, wow.
yeah, and see the two
No,
girls
I didn't
that's
know submissive. I did not. Wow, no.
okay.
At all.
Well, you need to know, beware of him because
Right.
he's a very great manipulator. This is like Nature Boy number two. Okay.
Oh, man.
And he has unique ways of drawing these women in. Why are you posting old videos saying that you are a pastor? You've been kicked out this congregation and this church
Oh, he
for
got kicked
7 years.
out. Wow. Did he get kicked out for stealing?
Well, that Lion, stealing Lion, man, there's a bunch of shit that he did that got him kicked out. But another thing too is like we have to look at the choices that his sister made versus choices that Ryan made. Like if I'm their father and I look at their lives and I see that okay, Ryan's sister has done this with her life. She's prosperous in all these different avenues. She's
Right.
organized. She's smart. And then when I look at Ryan, and we've had all these issues his entire life with all these different people. Why would I give my church, my legacy, that I was able to build up in this life to somebody that
Right.
will destroy it?
Yes,
So I'm
Ryan
always
is
able
a
to do this to the
criminal.
system. Yeah,
Wow.
that's what made him mad more than anything. Which what I believe is what made him mad is when when the dad gave full reins to the sister.
Hmm.
That's that's what really ticked Ryan off and really set him on a path of painting his dad as this cult leader. Because I guarantee you, if we go 4 years ago, 5 years ago, Ryan was not saying this shit about his dad.
Right.
Exactly. And I also want to add this too. If this home was so dysfunctional, his sister has became Mrs. Massachusetts, Miss America.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
and I don't see a person doing that coming up in a dysfunctional home.
Right.
So
Right. It seems.
and
Hmm.
her husband has a very big, successful business. Um, I don't see anyone doing any of this coming up in a broken home.
Nikki, you said, wait, the one that he's claiming is a crackhead?
She's not a crackhead. I have full
If you look at
videos
him,
of her. She has a very, very beautiful home.
yeah,
Her husband has a business.
Oh,
And if you see
wow.
this lady and you talk to her, you would know there are absolutely no drugs affiliated in her life.
yep.
Oh,
You,
so that's just something he's throwing out.
Yeah, these are things that he's just making up in retaliation out of the fact that he's been exposed for who he is.
Wow.
hey Toya. Yeah,
This
if
is
you look at
just,
the
this
father
is mind blowing. Like,
and the sister's husband and look at his eyes,
I'm so glad you guys got to the bottom of it.
like,
Jeez.
you could tell he doesn't do crack. You can put a picture of a crackhead and a picture of her husband, and you can tell that man, he don't have the shit around the eyes. Man, he don't
Right.
have skin texture that people that do crack do. So it makes no sense why he's saying that, and it's crazy because Divine is didn't his sister even said that he's probably gonna say something about my family or me, like man, like about doing crack. She said that.
Now,
Wow.
right, and I also want to add this. He lied and said this man jumped off a bridge. Now, do you think this man would be able to speak and look like he do if he jumped off a bridge?
No.
So
No.
this is where you can detect the lies.
I know someone years ago, they jumped off a bridge. They lived in Coney Island and they were paralyzed.
And this man has also, we're talking about $1 million industry business. Do you think he would be able to uphold that of using drugs?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I mean, I know functional drug users, but geez, they have money. Wow. This is just, I'm at a loss for words.
Ryan, I want to explain something to you about the type of liar Ryan is. He's the type of liar that believes his own lies.
Yeah. Sounds like a mental
And
condition.
for years, he's been trying to get the mother to sue the husband, well, the ex-husband, which is his mom, I mean, which is her husband, and the sister. That's why the sister have gag orders and everything. And
Oh,
the
wow. How many
reason
sisters does
why
he
is
have?
because for years, Ryan been trying to come up with creative ways to get money out of them.
Oh, wow. Wow. Because, a lot of these churches, they make a lot of money.
And this is a lady that took him in and his wife and child. And she had to forcefully remove Ryan from her house because Ryan was there locking the children in closets, torturing them.
What?
Yeah.
I heard this sounds familiar.
So this is the behavior of a narcissist
Yes.
and a cult leader.
Wow. This is crazy. So even if he tried to open up that nonprofit, what is it, shelter or something that he was supposed to be opening up, or a ministry or something,
How
he
could he
wouldn't
do
be able
any
to do
of
it
that?
with.
He is a criminal.
Yeah, he has a record. Like, how would he be able to do any of that?
Exactly. That's the thing. Wow.
My girlfriend Zoe.
This man used his daughter as a shield.
He was just crying about her the other day. So
Honey, let
that's
me tell
another
you
thing.
something. Let me tell you. Lola is in a facility because she has went through mental breakdowns and tried to commit suicide because of the
Wow.
things that he's doing.
What?
Yes.
This is
So
really
he's not
sad.
being completely honest with his social media.
No, he's not.
Now, if you were this great person, why would your child be in CFS with cuts all over her arm due to
Wow.
your dysfunctional shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and that's another thing too. And I want to talk about this because I was doing a build about single mothers, like single black mothers versus single white fathers,
Right.
because when the custody, single white fathers get their children more than single white mothers do. And
Mm.
as a black man, that angers me because we
Right.
don't our children, right? Like it always goes to the mother. But for him to get his child and then treat her like that and
Yeah.
take your child away from the mother, not saying that the mother is free of anything that was wrong with her, but to me, if we're gonna treat like the black community like that, then we gotta treat the white community like that as well. Why does Ryan have, or did have custody of his child and not the mother? And I might be wrong, Miss Nikki, um, but did Ryan have custody of his daughter over the mother?
No.
No. Okay.
The
Okay. So
mom had her.
Oh, wow.
And
Until
Ryan
she
is
chose.
living with the mother. Ryan doesn't have custody of himself. Okay?
Mm,
And I don't
okay.
that
think it
was
was
deep.
so much of a custody battle at that particular time. I think
Right.
it was the fact that the wife, him, and the daughter was staying there at the mom's house. And the wife just decided she couldn't tolerate the abuse and none of that anymore. So she just left,
Okay.
Wow. So he's a.
knowing that the girl partially could be in good hands with the mother, but not knowing that Ryan has this big influence and fear in the mother.
I believe that because, wow.
Yeah,
And it
see,
seems like the
uh,
family tried to give him so many chances, but it seems like he's just not trying to get any help or do anything to better
Let me tell
himself.
you how low this man is. Okay? Lola loves her auntie Sam. And she loves to go and play with her cousins. You know,
Hmm.
this is just a really big thing to her.
Right.
He restricts that, and when he do allow it, it's only because he need money or certain things.
Oh
He
wow.
would have poor Lola going in there stealing things for him.
What?
Yes, it's a lot of things that haven't been disclosed.
So
And
does he have custody or no?
no.
no, he don't. Lola is in the
So
custody of the state.
what was he crying the other day about? Oh, my daughter, and she said that
Those
I
are
need to
fronts,
be
honey.
alone.
That is to manipulate. That is part of the tactic. That is part of the game.
Yeah,
If
Oh
you were
wow.
concerned about your daughter, why would you torture her and abuse her to the point to where she are
Exactly.
committing suicide attempts?
oh,
Oh
that,
my goodness. Oh, poor baby. Oh my
And
goodness.
any child that's that young attempting suicidal attempts, it has to be a very serious situation.
Tell me about it. You're preaching to the choir.
especially as a young woman, like in that situation. But think about this, Nikki.
Hmm.
Uh, do you think
I don't
that
lie and I don't hide anything. What I've been through is what I've been through, and I I've been there. So yeah.
And
so?
the only reason he's crying because he would never thought that he would be completely exposed on these social media where he is preying on these women.
Right.
And what's so funny about it is his sister saying that he is so called, quote, what I'm gathering from her conversation,
Hmm.
he's a racist.
Right. That's
Now, if you
right.
are a racist, why are you so in tune with helping black women?
Well, to interfere and to mess our community up more.
If you're racist, well, like if you're racist against a black person, you think that they're weak, like that they're non-existent. So you're gonna prey on what you think is insecure, like the most insecure women in the world, and that's who he thinks it is the black woman. Like he believes that black women are the most insecure women in the world, which is why he's trying to help them, which shows racism.
Yeah, you know how it goes. They love our rhythm but hate our blues.
Well, I'm gonna say from the numerous of people that I have spoke with in his family, I would say this here. Everyone is not lying on Ryan. Okay.
Exactly. Right. There you
Ryan
go.
only had one support behind his story, and that's himself.
Right, right. Definitely. Hi, Ty.
Now, my thing is this here.
Hello, everybody.
Hey,
No,
Good
hey Ty, good
afternoon.
morning. It's
What's
only
going on?
we're just
So,
speaking about, the lies of Ryan, and how he's trying to manipulate and, sway these people to believe his lies about his family. Nothing he says add up.
right.
If
You guys,
all
let me.
this stuff,
No, I just wanted to say, you guys, all three of you, I just want to thank y'all again because you guys have some awesome interviews. And I was like, baffled. Like, I cannot believe, like, wow, you guys did a great job on all your interviews and all the work that you do. And I'm gonna keep supporting you guys. You guys do a great job. You
and I
know.
want you to know this here. One thing we don't do is we don't just attach to things just because it's being said. We
Right.
only expose the truth.
Yeah.
After examining and, observing the whole situation for ourselves,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
Because I just want to let that be known. We
Right.
Everything that we speak about or anything that we display to the public is all proven facts.
Right. Definitely. Wow.
We just don't get on here to speak, to slander or anything. We are raising awareness of women that are being preyed on, as well as a woman that was with him no one
Yes.
heard from.
She's still not heard from?
Well, no one's heard from Star.
What? I thought she made videos or something. Wow.
You have to drop the panel down, Kula. You have to expand it. Submissions want to come up.
Okay,
So,
okay.
with that being said, when you dealing with a
Money.
person like Ryan and Nature Boy, you have to be careful of what you're hearing. And as you see, he has a very convincing, manipulating story because you got two women over there that really don't want to be saved. Now, how could this woman, D Spice, have any say so about his family when she don't even know the animal that she's dealing with?
Exactly.
But how I feel, the D Spice girl more than likely knows exactly what she's dealing with. But Ryan, because she was talking about something about him having this bag, and he got the bag, and this and that, talking about as far as what money he has. But in the same token, how do you know how much money this man got, unless he's giving you some, or you know what I'm saying, compensating you in some type of fucking way. And I'm pretty sure he is, because from the
Well,
looks
I
of
want
it,
to add to that, Ty. I
you
want to
always in
add
a
to that.
hotel and some shit. The fuck?
I'm going to add to that. Ryan D doesn't have anything. Ryan D is robbing his mother and
Exactly.
stepfather blind. The highest job that Ryan ever had was working in a fast food restaurant.
Hey,
Now, what kind of money can you get from that? Not to mention, you were just evicted last month, Ryan, with a total of $4,000 in damage
mm,
from burning up your ex-wife's clothes in the middle of the floor and constantly igniting the fire with other clothing and household products and stuff. Now, this is the mentality of Ryan.
yeah. If he can't get it, then nobody can have it, and he tried to destroy it.
And now you're back homeless, draining your mother from an income that she wouldn't have if it wasn't for your father.
Exactly.
You are such a habitual liar, and you think no one can piece together the lies that you are telling. Nothing you say makes sense, Ryan. Okay? Because as we see, your sister is not dysfunctional, your other brothers is not dysfunctional. Why are you dysfunctional?
Exactly. Exactly. And if you look at the other families, you look at them speak, like that younger brother or that younger son, like he was very articulate. Like he knew, like he asked, like, is Ryan targeting mentally ill or like mentally damaged women? Like he knows, like it seemed like he did his research about the type of person Ryan is. And to me, like you can tell by the way that somebody articulates themselves, how intelligent are they? And to me, based off the sister, her husband, the son. I think the brother was there the first interview around Miss Dickey. You could tell that they're mentally stable, like they're mentally there, like they're not jumping around from one conversation to the next conversation. They're staying on topic. They're staying on rhythm, like they're like telling you exactly what it is. If they're not jumping around from one memory to another memory when they were 9 years old to one when they were 40 years old, like they're telling you exactly how it was and what happened. But with Ryan, in the way that he was telling his side of the story, he was jumping around from a memory when he was 9 years old to when he was 20 to when he was 40. Like if all that stuff really took place and really happened, you would have explained it in detail about what took place from the first domino until now. But the fact that he went for random points, the random point of trying to find everything that was bad, just let you know that he
Okay,
was.
I want to explain to you with what you're saying, Kula. This is what is going on.
Yeah.
As Sam explained to us, her father was a very handsome man coming up. And being that he was a pastor, women see riches and good looks, okay?
Yeah.
And we all know that that is an attraction to women.
Yes.
However, no one is perfect in relationships.
Yeah.
You're going to have some bitter women, you're going to have scorned women, which, as followed, as she said, is happened to be her mother. So, yes, there were false accusations made on the father, but nothing was never ever to a point to where this man was convicted, charged, or accused of anything. It
Yeah.
was just amongst of jealous women that he had dealt with in the past.
Yes.
And she as well explained that too. And most of us here, we can relate to that as to, you get a popular man, he's a pastor, he's handsome, that's like a magnet. Women
Yes.
draw to that. But however, you got women that's jealous of each other, jealous of him. If he's calling it quits, then that's when the hate come in.
Yeah.
So
But
she
wasn't it?
never denied that part of her mother being extra bitter after the breakup between her dad. So that's clear, But that does not make him guilty of all the lies that
Exactly.
Ryan is spreading. The man is not a cult leader at all. He was never convicted for a cult.
Never. And like there would be an article saying that his dad was a cult. There would be that person that he speaks about. This he would have been tied to an article tied to the church, and there's nothing. Like, I didn't find nothing about that renowned
Classy,
cult.
mute up, cause your phone is echoing with Duhkulu.
Who's that?
Now I was telling Classy to mute,
Yeah.
self mute, cause her phone was echoing. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
All right, well, I got it. Is it better now? Yeah. Okay. So it's to me like it makes no sense about the stories that he was telling, especially Nikki and Ty and Classy about how apparently his dad had sex with his ex girlfriend and then his brother's ex girlfriend. Like really, like Ryan, like look at you, bro. And when you look at a photo of your dad in his youth versus you, y'all are two different people. Like he was on another level. And is to say that he slept with your girlfriend, like to me, like that's just hearsay, bro. Like that's just your mind playing tricks on you, man. Like really think about that. Like your dad sleeping with your girlfriend.
Ryan has been trying to scavenge money from his daddy's business for years,
Yes.
all the way up to the point to where he tried to make a book of the fact that him and his mother did not, that Ryan's mother and the father did not make it. However, Ryan is showing a lot of bitterness due to the fact that his mom and dad's marriage wasn't successful. However, However, the man choose to divorce the lady as well, give her half of whatever it was that he had, which is what Ryan is walking around here done spent up. Now the money has exhausted. He's still trying little stupid tactics, using his mother to lie on the dad for books and all this other stuff. Where's the
Yeah,
book, Ryan?
exactly. And
You've been
where
writing this book, from what I heard, for 10 years. Where's the book? Where is the legitimate clips of your father being this cult leader? If your father was a cult leader and did any of the things that you said, it would go down in history and it would be on the website. If you type his name in, it's going to come up. Why that's not happening, Ryan?
and he keeps bringing up the same see that same DUI, right? The second like the second DUI, right? How? I know people here in Texas that are 17 that went to a party, got drunk, and then drove their car home and got a DWI. Like that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Okay, that don't mean that you're a cult leader. Like that same article that he pulled up, and notice, like that's the only reference that he made that is an actual truth, like to an article. Everything that he said is not like you can't be found in no article, can't be found in no news story, can't be found in nowhere else. So that
Well,
was the
I
only,
want to say this here.
yes,
Robert wouldn't be the only pastor that drinks. He's still
exactly,
normal. He's still a human being. Just
exactly,
because he's a pastor doesn't mean that he cannot drink.
exactly. I agree with you 1,000%. And that's the thing though. Like it's almost like Ryan's trying to, like in Ryan's mind, he thought this like his father was this perfect, holy saint of a guy. But when he saw his father drink a beer, or when he saw his father, after the marriage was over, start dating again, like it's like, come on, dude. Like we're normal human beings. Like every pastor, yes, man. Like some of these pastors claim to be closer to God, right? That's their ideology. That's their belief. That's what they went through, and that's their experience. But we all make mistakes, man. We all have a drink. We all get arrested by the police. Like the police are not perfect. So to say that your father's a bad guy based off him getting like a DWI or whatever the fuck that it was, come on, man. Like how do we know that those police officers weren't doing some bullshit, some fuck shit?
Okay, keep in mind this. You notice Ryan did not come bitter until the fact that he exhausted the money after the separation of his mother and father.
Yeah.
Everything was cool, fine, and dandy. When all the money was exhausted, Ryan comes out and he want to speak all these lies on his father because he was not accepted back because he had did worse and worse things to where these people wanted nothing to do with him. So Ryan, why is it that 8 years later, after you exhausted all the money of the separation of your mother and father, and now you have no more money to fly around, get high, abuse pills. Now your father is this bad person. Explain that.
I can't explain it. That's the thing though. Like if his dad says it's cult leader, how come Ryan didn't write a book? If your dad's a cult leader, like man, like you would think that you would write a book and then that book would become published. You know what I mean? But like, where's Ryan's book at?
Well, I want to say this everything has not been disclosed.
Yes.
Ryan, after you exhausted all the money within the separation of your mother and your father, why are they bad peoples now? When you were spending the money, and now it's hard for you to make ends meet over there, and as well making it hard for your mother because her children really wants to be bothered with her. But the reason why they can't is because Ryan is over there. And no one wants to be bothered with Ryan because Ryan is abusive, he's dangerous, and no one's going to put their life in risk. So now that the money is low, what's the problem, Ryan? Why do you feel like your mother is still entitled to anything or you? What's wrong, Ryan?
And my thing is like y'all probably have had or seen like family members or friends to where, well, cause me, I'm not a mama's boy, so y'all probably seen people to where their sons are mama's boy and how they act towards their mom, and y'all probably get the same sense about Ryan how he is toward his mom. But to me, I agree with y'all when it says that he probably got his mom in a compromising position after the divorce or whatnot, and he whether he has a recording, photos, like it's to me, I feel like he's blackmailing his mother, and that's what's going on here. And the reason why I'm allegedly saying that is because like notice the way that he threatened the recordings to his sister. Those what was it, 2 days ago?
Hold on,
Notice,
y'all. I'm sorry. I missed a call from the detective. Give me 1 second.
no, you good. If you need to go ahead and go off panel, then let me know and I'll bring you back up.
No, I'm just gonna give her a call back. Give me 1 second, please.
I got
I'm a
you.
mute up. I'm a mute up.
Yes, ma'am. But like that stuff doesn't make sense to me. Like,
Well, the thing I was thinking about was, you remember when he first came around, he said, for one, that he took his father down. He helped take his father down because of being a co-leader.
yep,
Then number two was, he was saying how he needed all of us to send him videos showing our outrage for him to take to the FBI. Well, there were some women who did that. I wonder what he's doing with those videos, or where those videos are now.
ooh, that's a good
Got
question.
yesterday.
Listen.
Um,
Yeah. Huh?
I'm just trying to get some information on it so I can get a report together, and also to kind of figure out what we're going to do here. It's regarding her brother, Ryan. So if you
Keep on, Ryan.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
well,
So I
well, yeah.
wonder where those videos are now, and what he's using them for, since he never went to the FBI. Um, yeah, it just, all the stuff he was asking for, all the stuff he was doing, it just, it's making it seem weirder and weirder that, he was up to something involving black women. Like, I don't know if he felt like he could maybe violate these women and nobody would care, or what, but it's creepy, very creepy.
It's creepy to me as well, and I think that it just shows his racism. Like the fact that you feel like black women need to be helped when no black women has came to you asking for help. Like I feel like that's racist. Like what in you when you look at black women makes you think that they're insecure? Like what in your mind makes you think that when you look at these black women that are taking out Nature Boy that they need help? Like what black woman specifically has asked you for your help? Nobody has. You are working with black women to take down Nature Boy, and what you're doing is you're gathering these information about their lives, who they are, their faces, their photos, because you are basically trying to weave out which women you can target and which women you can't.
Yeah,
So
it's very true, very
it's
true.
it's racist. Like he's racist, and like as
Hmm.
I can say that because he did mute me. He did kick me out of his thing. But he's the same person that says black men want to mute black women. I have never muted a black woman. So how can you say that, Ryan? Why are you painting that narrative to other black women, knowing what's going on within our community, like knowing the feminization and knowing how we have a issue with spiteful black women hating on black men? Like, why are you trying to tap yourself into that community? Why are you using the FBI and like you're part of law enforcement to try to like bring some authority in these women's eyes? Because think about this, Nicole. If I say I'm part of the FBI or I work with the FBI, that's gonna put you or put myself in your mind in a higher echelon of people versus other people, right?
Yes, very true.
So these women on Bigo, these women that are being hurt, whatever. When he sees him saying that, then you see him with the glasses, you see him in the dark, you see the way that he tries to act like he's part of the FBI and like tries to articulate himself like that. It's all part of his setup. It's all part of his scam. The same way the Nature Boy had a scam of being a spiritual guru, how he matched his rhetoric, his background, all that shit is to do that. He's doing the same exact thing, and that's another thing too. It's like, bruh, like how do you know that we at the Beam Team don't have any law enforcement that's tied to the Beam Team? Like how do you know that we don't have, bro? There's so many black people in this country that is part of the FBI that have family members part of the FBI. Like what makes it so different with you?
They just assume that all of us are crazy, all of us are dumb, all of us just, need saving because we can't help ourselves, and we're not smart enough to actually investigate the stuff that comes comes up or comes, to us. We're just gonna take it for what it is because of who he supposedly is and what he looked like, basically.
No, you're speaking facts because like that reminds me of a video that I seen the other day. So this guy was interviewing white people at universities, saying, so why do you think do you think black people have an ID? And like going to voting law rights, right? And they were like, no, black people don't have an ID. A lot of them don't have state IDs. Like it's hard for them, the DMV, right? Like it's like every excuse possible. And when they went to the actual ghettos and the hoods in the inner city, they asked them, "Do you have your ID?" They're like, "Yeah." Do you have your ID? They're like, "Yeah." Like you gotta have your ID. Where's the DMV? And they'll ask him, and they'll tell you a point. Like it's over here, man. It's on this street. So the fact that those white people felt like, based off their lack of research, that black people don't have an ID, that is racist. It's the same thing with Ryan feeling like these women need to be helped. Our black women do not need to be helped by a white man. I'm sorry.
We don't.
As
We
a black,
don't. We
we
don't.
do not need that, Ryan. I don't care if Black Widow, Nubian, D Spice, any of those so-called melanated women say that. We do not need your help as a black man, and I'm telling you straight up, as a part of the black community, we do not need your help in our
We
community,
do not need you. We can handle
and we
it,
need you to leave those black women alone. Go mess with white women, dude.
but
But
they're not as easy of a
they
prey
feel like
as we are.
sandpaper, right? But to you, they feel like sandpaper, right? Black women smell like cocoa butter to you.
Shea butter and cocoa butter.
We are not going to allow Ryan to do what he's doing to those black women. Those black women can choose to be in that position, but as a black man and for every black person that's watching that, Ryan cannot help any black woman within our community. If anything, those black women need to come to black men to air out their issues before they go to a white man to air out their issues. Because Ryan doesn't have
Exactly.
any background. There are more black men within our community that probably have psychology degrees, sociology degrees that Ryan does not have.
And the
So,
fact that those women sit up there and condone that shit pisses me off.
yeah.
Cause how y'all are arguing with each other.
Give me 1 second, Sam. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I gotta find the call back. Let me find it. Okay, return to calling. Okay, hello?
Nikki?
Yes.
I have Amy, Ryan's ex-wife. I'm not sure if they're married or not. Or ex-girlfriend. Lola's mom is on the line.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me mute up my. Hold on, please. Let me mute up my chat for a second here.
Okay.
Okay, hi Amy. How are you doing?
You might need to mute her, Duhkulu.
Okay.
We can
Okay,
still kind of hear the piano.
yeah, I gotta. I'm trying to get that. Let me get that together so I can mute that some kind of way. Hold on. Let me.
Muted her. I don't know
Where's
why.
this stuff? And how do?
There we go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and mute Divine, not fully permanently, but just for right now, because we are gonna do this the right way. Uh, unless Divine, like you wanted it to be done on this platform, then let me know. But yeah, that's for like another thing that we're doing. But anyways, yeah, like what you said, Nicole, is exactly right. Uh, Ryan does not talk about black women in this high, mighty type of way. From his perspective, most black women need to be helped. Most black men abuse black women from his perspective, and to me, that's racist. Like I've never heard Ryan talk about black women already being in a high light. Like he always talk about like women empowerment. He always talks about all the other stuff, but he never talks about black women actually being in a high light. And to me, that worries me. That worried me because there's a lot of black women that are already successful. There's a lot of black women that are already healed. There's a lot of black women that didn't have abusive relationships. There are a lot of black women that are married that are being treated wonderfully by black men. There are black men that are taking care of their black women. So why is Ryan saying these things? It makes no sense.
That's what I said to Kulu. I don't get it. And what upset me and pissed me off is that this Black Widow bitch was on this panel yesterday talking about she hate black girls. I hate you black bitches and y'all coons and this and that. And you doing all this in front of a white man. And then he didn't decide to say anything to her until the end, until she was done talking shit. But it's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? And black women, y'all make yourself look so fucking stupid when y'all sit there and try to down another black woman in front of a white man who is truly, really, probably like racist. If he's not racist against black people, he racist against his own kind. It's just the shit that he say in general that makes him a fucking racist. Like, how the hell are you gonna sit up here and say that white women feel like sandpaper? Like, that is racist as fuck,
It is.
and it's disrespectful as hell. So
But
for you to even down your own kind, that just goes to show what type of man is he. He don't do shit but sit there and like, you want to pray for a cult leader and you want to help a cult leader and all this one shit 1 minute, and then but this was the cult leader, the same cult leader that you wanted to take down. Then boom, you come for World or was talking shit about World or whatever, when World was the man who defended your name and cleared up false allegations towards you, you know from the people that you were being around and a group that you was a part of. But then after World doing that for you, you turn around and go against World again and team up with some bitter ass bitches, whatever the fuck they is, or for what reason I have no clue, to take down World and discredit World or whatever the hell y'all thought y'all was gonna do. Like, what was your reason for doing all of that?
I think to prevent what happened with those past two interviews, I think that Ryan knew that we would find out his dad's name, which is why he never spoke publicly about what his name actually was. He always said, "My daddy is a cult leader." Never said the exact name. We ended up getting that information from one of the people who worked behind the scenes with Ryan. Um, so I think that he knew the type of reporter Worlds actually is. Worlds an actual investigative reporter, and I think he knew that. And I think that Ryan knew his double life that he was living, and he wanted to protect that. So he tried to set up World before uh, World, put his focus on Ryan to try to discredit World and make World look like he ain't shit. But that's another thing too. It's like you doing that then shows the reason why you're fucked up in the first place, because at that time World helped you. We could have easily pushed the narrative that you were a pedophile. We could have easily came up here, Ty, Nicole, and on
Yep.
like been on the other side and said that Ryan D is a pedophile and went in on that.
Yep.
But we didn't. And then when Ryan did the plan, because I think that plan was already in place before World exposed the truth about Ryan. I I think that plan was already in place to bash World and take World down, was already in the conjuring up process before World even saved Ryan from that shit. And I think that that's why we see Ryan did what he did at the time in which World saved him, because Ryan already knew beforehand of the fuck shit that he was doing. So like
And
for
why
instance,
would he save him on that point, but then everything else now that he's saying is supposedly a lie?
yes.
If he wanted to lie on him, he could have just let that little narrative keep going. But no, he fixed it. He said, no, this is not who this is. This is who this is. And now we're saying this is who he really is.
See,
So,
and you know what's crazy, Nicole? If we got it all recorded, and we knew that. See, like we knew Ryan was also fuck shit back when Dilly departed and Hopeless was on this panel, and like Ryan came to the scene. We spoke about this shit, about the fake daddy, who he was, right? But we like still wanted to just wait and see what he like how he was gonna bring down Nature Boy. What he failed to realize is that once World explained and broke down the information that Ryan D's not a cult leader, Ryan D even said multiple different live streams that World, man, he's a shit. Man, thank you, World. World's telling the truth. Man, like, go to World's platform if you want to figure out that I'm not this pedophile. But now, all of a sudden, World's lying. But why wasn't he lying about the pedophile shit?
exactly.
That's how we know, Ryan, that you're lying.
Yep.
That's Peace and love to my goddess Zoe. Like even though that she's in here right now. She,
Peace and love, Zoe.
I don't know if you can hear it, but she said peace, y'all. Uh, but yeah, bro, like that was a straight up lie. And then it's funny because the same Roy guy that you talked, the Roy Clark guy that you said your dad stole $650,000 from, is the same guy that your daddy didn't ordain. So when did he tell you, Ryan, that your dad stole you this money? Was it the same time after he didn't go to like after he didn't get ordained? See, Ryan, like you need to answer these questions, my guy, because you just can't ask these like tell these stories like without asking things. Like we asked Samantha and the family as she was telling these narratives to see if they were making it up. We asked them specific questions, and they've told nothing but the truth. So Ryan, my question for you, and we know that you're listening, we know that your team's listening. How come, or when did he tell you about your dad stealing the $650,000? Was it after your dad decided not to ordain him? Because to me, not being ordained, and if that's your goal and your mission in life and your dream to be a pastor, and you don't get ordained the first time, I can see how that could build up a lot of anger, a lot of
Yeah,
animosity,
because it makes you look bad.
makes you look
Like,
bad.
why were you not ordained the first time? What happened to
When you
keep
go
you
to
from
the
being
Lord,
ordained?
and I guarantee you that Roy Clark guy was telling all the ministry members that I'm going to these ordained classes, man. I'm about to become a pastor. He was telling his entire family. I guarantee he was telling his friends and everybody at the church that he was going through this process of becoming a pastor. And when it didn't fall through, now they're asking why. Now they're asking what. And it's funny because he moved from what, Massachusetts to Arizona to start his own ministry. So that just lets you know that you're that the father of the family saw something wrong with the way that he was running shit. And she even said, I'm not gonna speak bad about his beliefs, his ministry, because he just has his own different beliefs. She didn't bash that dude. And if she was upset
Not
and
at all.
if she was lying, and she would have bashed him.
Hmm. She even said Ryan had some good qualities.
Exactly. But we didn't hear him say anything about that towards
Mm-mm. Towards her or her husband.
nothing. And my thing is like, why you keep talking about your daddy, Ryan, when your dad never said a word in these interviews? We haven't even heard your dad's actual side of the story, which we're probably never going to hear that because the man is in the position that he's in, and we don't want to bring any more stress to him.
That might be why he's doing all this now because he knows his daddy's too sick to say anything.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's like, why aren't you rebuting or like, man, like, why aren't you trying to like rebut the information that the sister's saying instead of adding more information from your perspective? Like, for example, Nicole, if you tell me, right, that I'm an abuser, and then you go on another platform and say that this man, Duhkulu's an abuser, and this is how he abused me, and you went through this whole entire story about how I abused you. If what you're saying is a lie, I have to then rebut that. And like, no, like that's not what happened. No, like this is what happened. Okay,
Yep.
he did this, or she did this, which caused me to say that. Not what like what he didn't even do that.
Mm-mm.
All he
He
did
talked
was
about everything except for
replace
that.
he tried to replace those stories with even worse made up stories about his dad instead of
Yep.
rebuting the stuff that his sister and the husband said.
Yep.
Then on top of that, when he did try to rebuke or discredit what the sister was saying, he used ad hominem arguments like, "Oh, your sister's boyfriend is a crackhead," or "He did this," or "Did that." Like those are attacking the personality of the people you're trying to attack instead of the information. That's an ad hominem argument. Go look up like what that means, Ryan. So everything that he says is textbook lying shit. And
Mm-hmm.
I would love because there are techniques to prove if somebody's lying, right? So Nicole, if you were to make up this story about me on live and me you were to then have a discussion, I would then I would ask you to repeat that same story backwards
Yep.
because if you can't remember exact detail of how the story took place backwards, that's how we know you're lying because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's always the same. So, for
And you
example,
can tell that shit is made up because he over dramatizes it.
over.
Like, okay, your husband is a crackhead. We had to go get him out of a crack house on the day of your wedding. He tried to jump off a bridge. Um, he smokes crack in the garage. He like what?
Yeah,
Like that, how does that make sense? Like I
that's
don't. And
that,
his
that's
sister being who she is, if all of this stuff was to have happened, don't you think by now somebody would have said, "Oh, well, this is her past, and look at her husband. Look at her." Every time somebody's in the public, they're always looking for something bad about that person so that somebody could blast it all over the media. So if all of that stuff was true, somebody would have said something about it by now.
yeah,
And I
and
don't
that's
see where any of that has been said.
well. Think about this, Nicole, as well, right? So Ryan, we know that he's not spiritually connected, right? He still believes in Christianity, which is perfectly fine if anybody that believes in that. But we know that there's deeper knowledge to all these different religions, like energy, the laws of correspondence, right? What you put out into the universe is what you get in return. Okay? So like it doesn't make any sense on how the husband can be a crackhead if you look at the sister, because you only attract what you are. And if you look at the
Right.
sister, talented, organized, is successful,
Mhm.
if she would not attract through actual universal mathematics, the law of attraction, like man, like she's not vibrating on that frequency to attract a crackhead.
Right.
So
That
that's
don't
just
make sense.
And that's what I was saying, Duhkulu. As far as with that is who his. Hold on, just 1 second, Duhkulu.
you good.
Yeah, you're not gonna. And then for them to have been together as long as they have, and they have children, and his business is still. I mean, I know that there's functioning drug addicts, there's functioning alcoholics,
Yo,
but I don't see anybody being that successful for that long if they're a drug addict.
it,
It
it,
just.
do we have to bring my goddess Delina up here because her dad is a crackhead, literally
Hmm.
still on the streets today in
Yeah.
San Francisco at shelters. Do we
Hmm.
need to bring up her to tell the behaviors of a real crack addict? Because the sign, like we went through their Facebook, we went through her husband's Facebook, his posts, his pages, his pictures.
Hmm.
Those are not behaviors and signs of a person that does crack, even as a recreational drug.
Exactly.
So that's a
And
lie.
let's be clear, crack is not a recreational drug. Once you start doing crack, you are on crack. Like I
Exactly.
had two uncles, both of my uncles were doing drugs. And I've seen how their life has gone back and forth. One is deceased, rest his soul, but I saw the way that their lives went back and forth. You'd be working and then you're not, and then you see them like go on these binges to where they're just not functioning, and it's just they were doing everything and anything they could to get the next high. So you're
I
like giving people your vehicle to let them drive it just so you can get another high. You're just doing stuff that's
sell
not
everything.
in your character to do.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. You'll sell everything. You'll steal from your family. You'll sell your
Mhm.
video games. You'll sell the cell phones. And
Yep.
when you look at their house, because if you just check out their Facebook, look at their house, look at the home, like look at their post from Easter Sunday. Like that's not what a crackhead does.
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
not
Yep. There's no
lying.
way you have that much money coming into your household and eventually you're not spending a majority of it on drugs to
Exactly.
where something starts to fail.
Exactly. And I've never seen a successful crackhead business owner. Never seen that in my life. So if he was at a crack, because to be at a crack house, like to be doing crack in private, that's one thing. But to be doing crack at a crack house and for people to come get you, that's a whole like you gotta be. really abusing that drug for brother, for you to be at a crack house doing crack and for your family to come get you. First of all, right, where was this crack house at? Was it in the hood? Was it in the ghetto? Because for a white man like Ryan and his white family to come to a black crack house,
Right.
that that seems very unlikely.
And
See,
let's be clear. It black people, I mean, we've been in the hood, we've been around the hood. They're always suspicious. They're always suspicious when someone white comes and you're like, okay, that's probably a cop. I'm not
yeah,
gonna trust that. I'm not gonna so to for them to be able to come in here and just drag him out of a crack house. And then not
yeah,
only have you been dragged out of the crack house, but you go get married. You go to a wedding. I would love to see these wedding pictures of this supposed crackhead being
yeah.
high during his wedding.
See, and that's another thing too. Is like, but I guarantee you, Nikki, and we can get the information to prove, I guarantee you, their wedding photos are on Facebook, and we could go get them and show everybody. But that's not the thing. Like that's not our business. You know, that's not our business to be doing that. But
Right.
but just to like exactly what you said. Like, how could you be drugged out on like a man at a crack house, and then
Mhm.
for your family to come get you in the hood at this crack
Yep.
house, then to go to a wedding what the next day or what 12 hours later or whatever? That makes no
He said the day of, didn't he?
sense of,
Or was it the night before?
as I'm not
He
sure.
said I thought he said right before your wedding we had to go drag him out of the crack house before your wedding.
Yeah, so to me, like, how long does it take for you to come down from a
It
crack
takes
trip?
way longer than that to come down. It's a couple of days.
Exactly.
You need to
Like
come.
there's no, you would not be still. No, you wouldn't be functioning. I don't care if it was 12 hours later. You still be because if that's the case, by then you would be needing another high.
Exactly.
So you would be running off again to get another high before you went to the wedding. So like I
And
just
he's
crack is
lying
not something
because
you can just what you call it that you could just do pick and choose when you want to do it like alcohol. You can pick and choose when you want to drink it. But if you're doing crack, like you have to do it. You have to do it. I
And
know because I have family members who have done
exactly.
it.
We have
So that's how I know.
see,
yeah.
this is what makes me question if people really from the hood and the ghetto because they're like they complaining about people's records and shit. Like, if you from the hood, like the real ghettos, the real South,
Right.
have
Hmm.
a felony. You gonna have records. You gonna be like, man, your family member gonna be drugged out, cracked out.
Thank you.
So is King Bishop all these people really from the hood like they claim to be? Because like, why would you ask that? How will we know?
Exactly.
Makes no sense.
Because we have family members who have
Exactly.
been there that we've seen do it. Like, that's
That's
how we
how
know.
they ruin their
We
lives.
grew up around it.
Right. My uncle went into
Like,
rehab 7 times. He still can't shake it.
see? Exactly.
7 times.
Crack is not something that you just get over. It
Exactly.
took my uncle ended up in a wheelchair for him to finally stop drinking and stop doing drugs. That's the only thing that stopped him was that his body finally shut down, and now he's in first of all, don't call me a good girl. Thank you kindly, because you will be kicked out. Be respectful. I am a woman. I'm not a
Exactly.
girl. Thank you. Anyway, um, you his body just eventually got to a point to where it just couldn't handle all the things that had happened to it because at one point he was so high that he was in a dumpster and was crushed to where his pelvis was broken, his legs were broken, and he went through, rehab. They got him back to a point of functioning. Then he started still doing drugs, still drinking, and eventually, at an older age, he's gotten to where now he can't even stand up straight, so he has to be in a wheelchair because
Yeah.
his body couldn't take any more abuse, and it just, and that's how he functioned, and that is part of being an alcoholic and a drug addict.
Hmm.
Your body can't go forever on that kind of stuff. It just don't happen. Eventually, after years and years of drug abuse and alcohol abuse, your body will shut down. Period. My ex-husband, alcoholic since the age of probably 15, 16. He's drunk alcohol every day. And he passed away 2 years ago because his body couldn't take no more.
Yeah.
It was like you just, it's too much. You can't be addicted to something and expect to live forever. It's not going to happen. So I just don't see this man after seeing pictures of him. I mean, yes, I know that there's people that have been to rehab and who have done the work and have, changed their lives and whatever. But this man just does not look like he has had issues with jumping off a bridge, for one, and then he just so cracked out, as he says, that, he's still smoking crack in their garage.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see that. I don't see that.
But she did make a statement and said that Ryan was not invited to her wedding.
Yeah. So how did that?
Mhm.
So like, how did
You
you?
know what, King Bishop? I'm not going to even give you the energy or uh, the what you're looking for. No, I did not smoke it with him. I have never done drugs. Thank you kindly. But
Yo,
I have seen the
my bad.
effects of it. So
Can you
what you can do is you can kindly kiss my ass and fuck
here?
off. Thank
Hey, man, you
you.
kiss my dog's butt right there.
Ignorant. Just ignorant.
Brother.
That's so stupid. I mean, that's not even like, bitch. What? Whatever. I'm not gonna go there because it's not even worth it. Because that was just stupidity at its
Mm-hmm.
finest. Like you're looking for a reaction from somebody, but this is not something that you joke and play about. Like, we have people in our community who are hurting and suffering
And
from
our
this. We have
family.
kids. We have kids who are growing up around this shit and having to see this on a daily basis. I was one of those kids that had to see that shit. Yes, it was my
Mhm.
uncle, but do you know how embarrassing it is to go to school knowing that somebody told you that they saw a drug dealer driving your uncle's truck? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I know your uncle is a crackhead. That's not something a kid want to hear, regardless of what it is or how it is. I mean, that's no, you don't do that. So I'm not even gonna entertain that shit. Oh, bastard.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. That King Bishop dude, like you can just tell by his picture that he just a troll.
Mm-hmm. He a troll.
Man,
He a
he
troll looking for attention, looking for
said,
somebody to follow him.
get the Muslim hat. Like, come on, bruh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Or go play in traffic.
all right. So we're gonna bring up another person called Christine Oprah and see what she wants to talk about.
Okay, cool.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
how are
Yeah,
you?
I'm good.
Where are you from?
I'm from the Philippines.
Are you from where?
Philippines.
Philippines. Oh wow. Okay, okay. Well, we're from the United States. I'm from Texas.
I'm from Georgia.
Nice to meet
And
you.
I'm from Texas.
I follow you all.
Thank you. Okay. We're gonna follow you back.
Okay.
Are you new to Bigo?
I'm just new here.
You
My
new?
my I have Bigo before, but my account was lost because my
Okay.
phone was lost.
Okay. So, do you know the topic that we're talking about?
No.
Real quick, may I ask your age?
I'm 20.
You're 20? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we're talking about a guy named Ryan, or who we call Lion D. Uh,
Mm.
he apparently made false statements about his family, his father specifically,
Mm.
and we're talking about the stories that he tried to tell people about his father, who we know specifically is a pastor. So that's what we're kind of like discussing. Like you're feel free to talk or stay in here, but that's what we're about to go back to the conversation. Okay.
Ah.
Okay. All right. But Nicole, you're exactly right, Nicole. Uh, Doing crack, like it takes way more than what he did, and if what you said is true about the sister not even inviting Ryan to be at the wedding.
Hmm.
How can Ryan be part of the go picking up her fiance at a crack house?
That was the lie. He told a lie.
Yeah. So the
He's saying
whole
anything he can to make them look
Hmm.
bad.
That's it.
Anything he can.
But she said he was not invited to her wedding.
and see, and that's the thing. Like, why would you lie like that, man? Like, are you that? See, like, he didn't expect his family all the way in Massachusetts to be on Bigo. Like,
Hmm.
like that, like, man, like that's why he didn't go to Facebook and do this shit. That's why he didn't go to YouTube. Like, those apps are like mainstream apps to where the odds of you running into your family increase on Facebook and Instagram and these places like that. He came to Bigo, knowing Bigo is a low key alternative live stream app. Never thought that his sister or his family would ever be on here, which is why he was telling that narrative that he was telling.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't think they would ever find out about it.
Hmm.
No,
Ever
but
find out about it. So he was able to continue that narrative until that story was finally busted.
But then another thing too that made
Besides,
his story stand out when he went to talk about that his dad was a cult leader. And who's your dad?
hmm
You know what I'm saying?
yep.
Like, who is your dad? What you mean? And then you say you brought it down? Huh? So you look suspect on there. Then for you to have friends in the FBI, I don't think you need any help over here on bingo from anybody.
no, like it makes sense. Like, bro, the class years, like, yo, but you're exactly right. Because first he said he brought down his dad. Then he said his
Hmm.
dad was locked up for 5 years for embezzlement. And
Hmm.
now his dad had a 5 year probation for what, shooting up a neighborhood.
Something like that. He said, "Yeah,
Oh, dude, like, I thought you took your daddy down. I thought that made your dad did 5 years for embezzlement.
right."
Now brought up a neighborhood and he got 5 years probation for that. Really, really, dude.
Yeah, that no, no,
Yeah.
sir, no, sir.
See, your story
Especially if
already
he's
off
a
right there. It don't make sense.
yeah, especially if he's been already locked up for embezzlement and he's a past felon. And you mean tell me he only got 5 years probation for shooting up a neighborhood? That's not gonna happen. And you got tied to the mafia? That's not gonna happen.
Not gonna
I
happen.
don't care what color
Right.
you are.
So, as I'm gonna fill you in about law enforcement, okay? I got two family member law enforcement, and my uncle was part of a gang, was actually like the creator of a gang, and they like on your record, they'll like they have it on your shit if you're part of a gang, and every time that his dad got pulled over, it would have said that he was tied to the mafia. It would say what family member he's part of, then it would say the group you're part of. It's all put into your record. Not your public record, the one that we can go confiscate online and pay a little fee for. But I'm talking about on the actual police like database. It shows all that shit. So it makes no sense, Ryan. Anything of what you're saying. Man, you did not bring down your dad. Your dad did not get 5 years for embezzlement because that would have been an article in the Massachusetts local news.
Yep.
For something that big, your dad did not shoot up no neighborhood. Your dad did not hire no hit on a millionaire that apparently gave your dad all this money.
Like that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't that been public record? Like, come on now, pastor, pastor, which is seems to be well known and as a big guy, you know. Come on now, wouldn't that have been in the paper that he is tied to the mafia
Yeah,
mob? He ran a cult. He embezzlement and all this other stuff. That stuff would have been public. It would have been news articles after news articles. And due to his daughter being who she is,
exactly.
like,
That
I mean, come on now. You think that a cult leader is going to let their daughter be who she is?
no, never to the co-leader who has a daughter is let their daughter be on Miss America. Shit, like allow her daughter to go overseas to help in other countries, build homes for other people in other countries. That's what their organization is doing. Please, what cult leader's daughter does this? Where?
Yeah.
It, We know that that town of Massachusetts is a small town. It's not no Dallas-sized town or no San Francisco, LA-sized town. So it'd be easy to find articles. Like if your dad was really 5 years in embezzlement or working for the mafia or shut up a neighborhood, there would be some type of news stories talking about how the pastor shut up a neighborhood, how he's tied to embezzlement. Nothing. Nothing. And if you want to actually talk about records, we could. We've already pulled up your fucking father's record. All he has is those damn DUI shits and just small, minute misdemeanor shits. But when you pull up your shit, Ryan, theft auto, bro, don't even make me go, bro. Like we're saving, like we're just sitting on this information because man, and I don't want to say too much because like Ty, like it's constantly like y'all already know the shit that we got behind the scenes, but don't talk about another person's record and make up shit that's not on their actual record. Because you know that half the people that listen to you, if not all of them, are not going to go pay the money at the database to go get the record. You know that. He knows that people are going to look up his. He don't even tell the people that he's talking about his dad's name so they go look up his dad's actual information. He just says my dad's a cult leader. He don't tell the actual name because if he did that, people will go look it up and find out that he's not a cult leader, he's a pastor. Ryan, stop all the lies. Stop with all the bullshit. Stop with everything that you're doing because you're just creating it a worse hole for yourself, man. And when we do this interview today, and when the rest of the reports come out about your ass, we don't want to see you online crying, making up more stories. We don't want to see you online doing that, Ryan. What we want to see is you get offline, you go get real professional help, and you go make amends with your family before your father transitions to the next life, whether that be this year or 5 or 20 years from now.
Because that's what a real pastor or a real man of God will do.
Exactly.
That's
You
right.
understand what I'm saying? They're not gonna sit up here and keep adding gasoline to the fire. That just don't make no sense to me. And anybody that sit there and ride with Ryan and you know what I'm saying, want to speak for Ryan and take up for Ryan, if y'all were any type of women who had sense and y'all believed in God and whatever, y'all would tell y'all friend that. If y'all were a real friend, y'all would tell him that is the godly thing to do. Okay? That's what an
Yeah.
honest man would do. That's what a man of God or a man that's a pastor or a man that is, hey, Scorpio Queen, can you mute up? I can't hear you. Yeah, but yeah,
I
so
didn't mean
it's
to come up. I'm sorry.
uh
There we go.
yeah, but it's that's what a person would do. Not sit here and keep, talking shit and trying to air out family business and everything else. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain, his family didn't come to the internet talking about him and all this one shit. Ryan did that.
Exactly.
Nobody else came to the internet talking about Ryan's daughter or any of that shit. Ryan did that.
Yep.
Ryan exposed that. World didn't come for Ryan and was talking shit about Ryan or nothing. World cleared up his name, but World came for Ryan first. Okay, so let's make shit clear. Y'all know what the fuck going on, and like stop trying to act stupid. It ain't about this man having a past or you know what I'm saying, a history. No, this is a repeated thing with this man. This is something that he is known for doing, and he doing now at the moment. He ain't changed. He ain't a better person. He ain't trying to make life right for himself, get his shit together. No. He's
He
still
fucking-
being self-destructive, starting shit,
Yep.
and making shit worse than what it already is. And that's why his life is the way it is. That's why he go through what he go through. That's why he's still probably living at his damn mama house or whatever. That's why he broke. That's why he's jealous of his sister and her success.
Yes.
Like, I
Uh,
don't care what her husband did whenever he did it or whatever, whether if it's the truth or the lie. But that doesn't matter. The only person that we talking about at this moment is you, Ryan, because You, the one who came on here with no explanation at all of why you want to come for a cult leader.
Exactly.
And you got fucked around, and you was messing with the wrong females, because where are those females that called you? Where they at now? I don't see
Exactly.
them. I don't see them
They
taking up for you. I don't see them
they
speaking
were
good
live.
about you. I don't
They
see
were live
them
last
doing
night.
none of that.
Nope, you're exactly right. Like they were live last night. Didn't say a word about Ryan. Didn't say a word about the situation. Didn't say a fucking word. But where they at now to protect you, Ryan. Like that's the thing though. Like, and you're exactly right, Ty. Like like all this shit that's happening. It's all based off the choices that he made on this app. Sorry about that, guys. My dog Duke over here. But he brought all this shit on himself. If Ryan would have never came and said anything about his dad, anything about his family, anything about none of that stuff, and just kept it strict on Nature Boy, none of this information would have came out.
Right.
But Ryan had other intentions, which is why the universe, slowly but surely, had spoke through him and let all this information out, which is why he has a hard time getting off live. So he came in with the wrong intentions. The universe saw that, and then all this information came out. Hey, let me see him, babe. Let me see him. Come here, Duke. Duke, come here. Duke. Come here, boy. Come here. You gonna calm down? You gonna calm down?
He want to play. How he is, Kulu?
He's babe. What is he like? 6 months?
Yeah. Oh, he's still a
Yeah,
pup.
he's still a puppy.
Oh.
All right, buddy. You gonna have to leave, buddy.
You can play with mama or something.
And that's what I'm saying. And he ain't doing shit. He just mad, and he acting like a child that ain't get his way. You don't understand? And playing victim. I hate that shit. I can't stand when a grown man or a woman get on here, cause all these problems, start so much shit, come for a motherfucker, get on panels, talk shit, talk shit, talk shit, talk shit, talk shit. But then when somebody, when you know, when the motherfucker tired of you fucking with them, because y'all keep poking the fucking bear, and then when the bear wake up, then motherfuckers want to cry. Oh, want to bring tears to the internet, want to cry on live and do all this fucking weird shit. Y'all motherfuckers weird as fuck. Like, y'all weird as fuck. Y'all get on my nerves. Like, what type of motherfuckers do y'all be around? Well, apparently y'all ain't got no friends, because ain't no way in hell that anybody that I hang with can conduct themselves like that. Like, real recognize real at all times. And like you said, what like you said, the Kulu, the universe picked up on the bullshit. He had ill intentions. So
Yep.
what you put out in the universe, guess what? That shit come back on you 10 times fold.
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame your sister. Don't blame world. Don't blame me. Don't blame Nikki. Don't blame Ty. Don't blame your family. Blame you, dude. Accept responsibility for what you did. And that's another thing too. Like Nature Boy even told him this shit, bruh. Like everything is you. Like if he would have really been listening, everything is you, bro. Like you the one that started this shit. You the one that came on here talking about your dad. You're the one that came live after your sister went live and was making all the shit. You're the one who set up the shit behind the scenes. You're the one that hopped on Tokyo's panel and told women to come up. You're the one that set up all this shit. Nobody but you, Ryan. Nobody but you, dude. Babe, can you close the door, please? Sorry, we put him back in his cage.
Don't get it. It's probably the way the universe telling him that he need to shut his damn mouth because he run his mouth too much. Your mouth is what got your ass in trouble.
But
Running
that's
your
the
mouth.
thing, though, is the universe can tell him that, but Ryan's gonna keep talking, and that's what man, like that's what's gonna lead into today's interview, and then whatever happens after this is all because he didn't listen to the universe. The universe told the nigga to shut up.
Shut your ass up. Be quiet. You talking too damn much. You're not making sense. You telling lies. And see, lies don't add up. They don't make sense.
Yep.
The truth is what makes sense. Lies don't make sense because you have to keep on putting shit on top of shit. So then you
Exactly.
tell so many lies till you forgetting the lies that you're telling. And you think people ain't listening.
It chooses Bigo because these apps or Bigo doesn't save your ex lives. So, but that's the thing though. Like everything that he's saying, it's already been recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that he don't recognize that. So he's saying about slander and he gonna take on world legally and he gonna do all this shit. Bro, we have every live stream that you did from the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And you gonna talk to us about slander? You gonna talk to us about is pursuing somebody legally, bro?
Shut up. That's all I can say, Kulu. Shut up.
Exactly.
You can shut the hell up. Shut up.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, come on now. You on this motherfucker talking big shit. Like, boy, go to hell. You is not doing nothing big. You ain't got shit to sit up here and have all these lawyers. Like, come the fuck on now. If he had all this connections and all this other shit and this and that, please tell me why the fuck he has not used not one of these connections on Nature Boy. He only person he used these connections on and still failed at doing that was Star.
All that. And it's like, man, if you had all these connections, why didn't you use all those connections with your family all them years ago? It makes
Right.
no sense. Why are you waiting to do it now?
You hear me?
Come on, man. Like, you're full of shit, bro. And we know that you're only saying those shits about the recordings to have your sister from stop speaking. And we're like, the same shit that Nature Boy does. And Nature Boy does the same shit. Like, when these people leave, he always says, man, like, we got recordings, man, we got videos, man, I want to play the, like, blah, blah, blah. He always says that he's going to play the video of these people and what they did at the camp if they ever speak out against him. He says the same exact shit that
Mm-hmm.
Ryan did. And it's like, bro, like, we know these games, bro. We have the patterns of Nature Boy, and we know that you are exhibiting those same patterns.
Right.
Yep.
The same exact patterns. Like, come on now. And then, but the whole thing is that like his sister got the actual restraining order. It was the document that we have seen. It real documentation
Yep.
of a restraining order that she had got for her son when he put a knife to her son's neck at 9 years old.
Man, he's lucky that he didn't grow up in my family or y'all's family, because
Man, listen, bro. Brian would have been got his ass beat and some. Like, come on now. The
Ryan, like, be
fuck?
grateful, brother, that you grew up in like your daddy's church. Because you grew up, let's say, in my family or somebody in the south of Texas family, and you did that to my little brother or somebody else's little brother or son, man, you would have been put in that dirt and buried on that land, and they wouldn't have heard a word from you. So stop playing, man. Stop acting like you have the worst life in the world, bro, because you don't. Man, you don't. And why are you still and Ty, like, that's how you know he hasn't moved on. Like, you still bringing up shit from when you was 9 years old, my nigga. Like, why haven't you healed from that shit? Like, why are you gonna be is getting all these black women together that apparently have all these issues that you claim when you haven't even fixed the issues that you have? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I mean, it makes sense because he wants these women to manipulate them and to use them for their money, their finances, their body, and for their control or for his control. But all the extra shit you're doing, man, it doesn't make any sense. And Ryan, like, all these lies is gonna stop. You gonna, but that's the thing though. Like, we know he's not gonna stop. But like I said, we're just gonna keep recording, keep gathering the information, and time's gonna prove us right. Time will prove us right. But that's all I gotta say about the end of live. I appreciate Classy and Ty for coming on the panel. I appreciate the Beam team for showing me some support and everybody in the chat. Shout out to y'all guys, and I'll see y'all later. Peace and love.
All right, Kulu.
Bye bye.
Bye.